Thursday Night Thunder returns to the home of the Dirt Car Nationals, Volusia Speedway Park in Barberville, Florida. And tonight we've got some good action here for you. The 358 and the Big Block Modifieds come into town. And we can also officially say that Thursday Night Thunder is back on Slide Job Racing Network. And we could not be more excited than to give you coverage here on Thursday nights once again. We're so glad you could join us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network and Slide Job Racing Network. Marty Sakala alongside Zach Chapman. Shaggy, we're getting set to go here. 358 Modifieds at Volusia. And, any car on Volusia never disappoints.
Yeah, and, it looks overcast. You can see the trees. The wind's blowing right now, so going to be a track condition these guys normally aren't used to. Should bring a lot of moisture up. Hopefully it keeps the track real tacky and fast tonight. And I think if it does, these 358s, you're going to see them plugged to the bottom as long as they can, but we should see two fast cruiser racing in the future.
Let's talk about last week here. We had an awesome Super Dirt week last week. Isaac Salas sweeping both the 358 and Big Block Modified portions for the second year in a row. But when we look at the points, there's been one man that's been completely dominant on the season. That's Anthony Morano. Surprisingly, he only has one win on the season, but 6 top 5s to start the year.
Yeah, just that model of consistency. I think it was 2 weeks ago he was involved in a wreck, I believe, at Williams Grove, and he still fought his way back up into that top 5. He's just knows how to hit the right spots at the right times. It's just the car will slip up out of the bottom lane, and he's just right there to pounce. He's so aggressive, but in a very cautious way, and he just kind of makes you have to drive a different line so he can take the fast line, and Anthony's good at what he does.
There is another driver on my mind as well. He's the quickest driver on track at the moment. That's B-Temp, Brandon Templeton, the 31. You pretty much never know when Templeton's going to show up in these 358s when he arrives to the party. But when he's in a race, he's got a really good chance to win.
Yeah, and he really likes that high side, and that's something that I think in the last 10, maybe 15 laps here is going to be real dominant. If he does a better job of saving that right rear, I know he talked to me a little bit on Tuesday night. He had burned up a little bit of the right rear in the qualifier there at Charlotte. He said he's just got to work on that right rear tire management a little bit, but if he gets that dialed in, Marty, man, he is going to be tough to beat.
358's brought to you by RSN Trackside, Western New York's home for motorsports, every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock on Rock Sports Network. Qualifying is underway. In case you don't watch the 358 Modifieds and Big Blocks, here's how their night will work. 2 laps of qualifying. That will last 2 minutes, and then we'll have 6-lap heats. Tonight's feature is 30 laps. We should be in for a good one. Let's watch Templeton here on lap number 1. Again, a bunch of your favorite drivers on the bottom of your screen to see how they do time-wise. First driver that's going to be taking some time here is Harold Klump in car number 555. He'll be the first time that pops up, and he'll set the bar. That time is a 16.845. Scott Rayom, 16.747. Joseph Grandy goes quick time. 100 grand. Been a while since we've last seen him. A 16.51, the catalytic recovery ride.
Yeah, and other guys still have yet to put times in, Marty, but he's got himself quite a gap to P2, Jeff Barker.
Jeff Barker, Sam Bachman goes to second, 16.65. See if Barker can improve his lap off of turn number 4. And he cannot. 16.94 in lap number 2. Here comes Dylan Kinsey off of turn 4, who was a contender to win in both the modified races at Super Dirt Modified Week last week. The Salesman second quick on lap number 1 in Blake Chapman. 16.59 for the 20. Jeff Barker, meanwhile, I think, nope, never mind, forget that. He was quickest in Sector 2, but that lap won't count because he was on his 3rd lap. Chapman's second lap is a 16.61, off by about 200ths. And so that'll do it for qualifying. So Joseph Grandy back in the 518. We'll start 4th in heat race number 1. Again, we invert the top 4 prior to each heat.
Yeah, and track is going to change, Marty, but these guys being in a fixed setup, for him to go out there and almost be a full tenth of a second faster than Blake Chapman, what a qualifying effort for 100 grand there.
For those watching tonight, let us know who you are rooting for in chat. And again, thank you all so much for joining us here on Coast to Coast Racing Network and Slide Job Racing Network. Time for Heat Race number 1, brought to you by Flatline Racing Bodies. Produced by Dan Chapman, the iRacing hotbed of Clarence, Iowa. Anthony Morano on pole position, the FTM number 32. Next to him, it's Matt Schaefer in the 183. Row number 2, the Brew to Beast, Jeff Barker in the 513, and 100 grand, Joseph Grandy in the 518. Row number 3, B-Temp, Brandon Templeton in the 31, and Alex Pomelo in the 397. Rounding out the grid for tonight, it's Randy Shreves in the 56. 6 laps for Heat Race number 1, the winner on pole position for tonight's feature.
Yeah, a little surprising to see Brandon Templeton struggle in qualifying, not make an invert. We'll have to see if he can make up some spots here in the heat.
May have been taking the track early. What could have been the situation for him as we're green for Heat 1. Morano gets away with a good jump. Schaefer in second. Grandy, Barker race at it for the 3rd position. B-Temp now goes 3 wide. Risky move. Entering turn number 3. 4 wide for just a moment for 2nd position. Morano leads lap 1 as Schaefer edges out Grandy for the 2nd spot.
Yeah, you saw that 4 wide really hurt Brandon Templeton the most there. He really had to lift out of it coming out of 4, but now he's back under Alex Pomelo, back into P5. Going to make it 3 wide again here.
Oh,
in the middle of 3 and 4.
Man. Looks like racing at Land of Legends or racing at the dirt track at Charlotte. It's easy to go 4 wide here. 5 wide, maybe not. Schaefer, though, quickest driver on the track, 16.74. Takes a peek underneath Morano for the race lead, side by side. Morano with the preferred line off the corner. And here comes Grandy for 2nd.
Yeah, Matt Schaefer maybe showing a little impatience. Fed Morano the bumper going down the backstretch and tried to look low. And now that might cost him P2 as you're seeing Joseph Grandy side by side at his door, and he's going to get a better exit here off the 4th.
2 laps to go in Heat Race at number 1. It's the driver of the 32. 100 grand up 2 spots to 2nd, was the quickest of all drivers in qualifying. He's got a chance to possibly start on pole here tonight. Can the catalytic recovery 518 get it done? Tries to diamond 3 and 4, 1 to go.
Yeah, he's got a big enough gap back to P3 that I think he's going to be able to be aggressive if he wants. He's going to try to diamond 1 and 2, but just going to get a little too sideways there in the middle of the corner.
Last shot into 3 and 4 for Grandy. Schaefer gets a run. That's going to do it. Morano on pole position tonight in the 32. He wins Heat Race number 1. And so now we move on to our 2nd Heat Race of the night. Here's the starting lineup. Heat 2 brought to you by Full Throttle Motorsports, official team of the Coast to Coast Racing Network and the official sponsor of the Big Blocks. John Morano on pole position, the 33. Next to him, Superman Kurt Schatzer in the 218. Row number 2, Dylan Kinsey in the 083, and the salesman, Blake Chapman, in the 20. Row number 3, Bob DeGood in the 7, and Logan Wentz in the 118. Rounding out the grid, one of the James Bond cars, Michael Vecchio in the 007.
And, John Morano, he did a great job qualifying Tuesday night in our event, but had a little bad luck in the heat. Got into some contact, ended up having to go back to the B mains. But John Morano, man, he's really improved his qualifying, and it's showing. He made the invert, going to start P1 here.
Good possibility of making this an all Morano front row lockout. So we are set to go racing. Winner starts 2nd, underway. Schatzer with the preferred line off in turn number 2. Had the best jump compared to John Morano, who had no yaw in turn number 1. Dean's favorite saying. Here comes Dylan Kinsey for the race lead. Blake Chapman up to 3rd on lap number 1.
Yeah, it looked like John Morano entered turn 1 a little early. Had to straighten the car up and then try to get it to turn. Like you said, no yaw there when you try to crank it in the middle of the corner. He's back to almost fighting for P5 already, so rough start for him.
The salesman upstairs, though, for the 2nd position. Lap number 3 underway. Schatzer off to a great start. Chapman, Kinsey, Morano, and then rounding out the top 5 is Logan Wentz in the back of that blue and red 118. Into turn number 3, meanwhile. Chapman trying to diamond the corner. The good race for third, Kinsey and John Morano, but Morano down in fourth still.
Yeah, he's peaking, though. It looked like Kinsey even went a little defensive there, trying to run an unpreferred line to keep John back there, and it worked. And now, all of a sudden, John's got a mirror full of Logan Wentz.
Chapman had the quickest lap last time by the 16:69. Check the laps. Chapman closed in by 100. Didn't seem too much. And now Dylan Kinsey on the bumper of Chapman for the 2 spot. Kinsey peeking underneath, unable to do something there. Final lap underway in Heat 2. Schatzer hanging on to the top side, right next to the fluff. Down the back chute.
Good run.
Chapman looking for one final run, but following Schatzer's line, doesn't want to take the risk. Schatzer wins heat race number 2. Chapman second, Kinsey third, Morano fourth, Wentz fifth, DeGood sixth, and Vecchio in 7th. We now move on to our final heat race, brought to you by Glenridge Motorsports Park, the official home for the Dirt Car 358s on Sunday nights. Scott Rayom on pole position, the 444. Next to him, Randall Dixon in the 011. Row number 2, Michael Vitale in the 213, and Sam Bachman in the 107. Row number 3, Harold Clump with the 555, and Jason Butterfield in the 93. Rounding out the grid, the return of Dan McLaren in car number 88.
Love to see Soupy out here running some dirt. He's been sticking around running some asphalt, but haven't seen him running much dirt this season.
Yeah, nice to see McLaren back in the one-off. I see him a lot of the asphalt races when I have the chance to run those.
Yeah, and for everybody out there listening to us talking about asphalt racing, don't just think that 88 is good on asphalt. He's pretty darn good on dirt, too, so keep an eye out on that car.
Well, Steve King Foundation pace truck on pit road. Green is out, underway. Oh boy, who was that? I think that was the 213 of Vitale that nearly clipped the Jersey barrier in 1 and 2. Dixon with the slight odd by a door for right now. As everyone's still 2x2 off for turn 4 except for McLaren. Dixon has Rayom cleared as we complete lap 1.
Yeah, you said it, almost got in the inside Jersey barrier there, turn 1. These cars, they just handle so much differently when they're not up to speed, Marty. They turn so well going into turn 1. The guys just don't expect it, and then they have to re-counter, get kind of stuck. But it looks like he's going to be able to get P3 back here.
McLaren's put the 88 on the pit road. Here comes Bachman, diamond in 1 and 2. He's got a big run on Vitale down the back chute for the 3rd position. Vitale still carrying those Mission 22 colors back from Super Dirt Modified Week last week. Vitale, though, edges Bachman for 3rd by a tire.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see the top working this well already. It looks like there's still a lot of tack left on the bottom, but these guys just able to keep that car real straight and up the song up there up top and keep those RPMs rolling.
And that was a heck of a run by Bachman through the middle of 3 and 4. Now sends it in deep, doesn't throw the slide job. Vitale able to clear still by a car length on the 007. It's still Dixon, Rayom, Vitale, and Bachman, the top 4. Bachman with another run once again. It's Vitale pushed up. They touched 1 to go.
Yeah, Rayom loves that, seeing that in the mirror. He's going to be able to lock down 2nd. Should be no problem, but I don't know if we're going to have a battle here for 3rd. Doesn't look like Samuel Bachman's going to be able to close it down here, Marty.
It's Randall Dixon, the Virginia native, off at turn number 4, who wins Heat 3. He'll start for the 3rd spot tonight. Rayom 2nd, Vitale 3rd, Bachman 4th, Butterfield 5th, Clump 6th, and McLaren 7th. We'll take our first break of the night as the Ohsweken Speedway warm-ups are underway. Stay with us right here, ladies and gentlemen, on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Beautiful palm trees at Volusia Speedway Park near Daytona Beach. Make sure you don't feed the gators here. Warm-up's underway. Blake Chapman the quickest at a 16:78. Hey, while we were waiting, Zach, to get things going, you and I were talking about this before we went on, but how about that World of Outlaws race last night at Jacksonville? Holy smokes. Race of the Year candidate, without question.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you know, Kyle Larson looked like he had it locked up there, but then David Gravel came out of nowhere. Larson got him back, and then when they got into he started fighting with lap cars there towards the end, the quicker lap cars, it got real interesting. And I'm not going to ruin it. I won't tell you who won, but like Marty said, race of the year 100%, and it's going to be tough to beat.
Hello, Dino. Watching in Syracuse, watching tonight the Syracuse Crunch lose to the Rochester Americans. Go Amerks tonight, by the way, fam. I'm sorry, I had to say it. AHL playoffs happening tonight. Alrighty, 30-lap feature. Let's meet the field. Here is the RSN Trackside starting lineup. On the pole, Anthony Morano in the 32. Next to Superman, Kurt Schatzer in the 218. Row number 2, Randall Dixon in the 011. And the 518 of 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. Row number 3, the Salesman, Blake Chapman in the 20. And Scott Rayome in the 444. Row number 4, Matt Schaefer in the 183. And Dylan Kinsey in the 083. Rounding out the top 10 tonight, Michael Vitale in the 213. And the Brew to Beast, Jeff Barker in the 513. Row number 6, John Morano in the 33 and Sam Bachman in the 107. Row number 7, Alex Pablo in the 397 and Logan Wentz in the 118. Row number 8, Harold Klump in the 555 and B-Temp Brandon Templeton in the 31. Rounding out the grid tonight, Bob DeGood in the 7, Butters, Jason Butterfield in the 93, Randy Shreves in the 56, Michael Vecchio in the 007, and Soupy Dan McLaren in the 88. All right, you've met the 21-car field as we get set to go racing for tonight's feature. Zach, who's your pick to win, my friend?
Oh, man, going to be a tough one, but I'm going to pick that 518. I think 100 grand's going to be the man to beat tonight.
Well, nice pick. I'm going to go with Morano from the pole this evening.
Can't go wrong picking that 32 machine.
You can never go wrong picking the 32. All right, lights are off. We're going green this time by. Let's know your pick to win in the chat. 21 cages of cold metal with hot rubber at the corners. Set to do battle 30 laps around Volusia Speedway Park. Anthony Morano on the pole, looking for win number 2 on the season. Kurt Schatzer starts second, looking for win 1 of the season. Maybe even his second top 5 on the year. 12th in points coming on in. Ready for the Lucy Olson start. Glad you could join us here on Thursday Night Thunder. First feature of the evening set to go down. Morano and Schatzer, the green flag. It's time to get it on.
Good jump from Schatzer on the high side. He's going to be able to pinch him down if he wants to. And then as soon as I say that, no, good run from Anthony Morano in the middle of 1 and 2.
Heck of an exit off of turn number 2 by the 32. Grandy underneath Schatzer for the second position. Lap number 1 up on the board, led by Anthony Morano. Just about 3 wide for 4th between Blake Chapman and Randall Dixon. Grandy in the 3rd position. Let's see, Schatzer pulls up to Morano. And now Grandy with a run downstairs. Blake Chapman behind him. Field makes the way off the corner. It's Morano, and then Schatzer. I think Grandy may have hit the Uke tire off before. Not too sure, though, Zach.
I was going to say the same thing, Marty. It sure looked like that left front picked up. Hopefully it wasn't real bad, but, you know, even if it is, how much do you use that left front tire here?
Right now, that left front's okay for right now. Stack up further back. Everyone keeps it going. But Schatzer and Morano have checked out from the Peloton pack and now look to do Gannon for the race lead. They each ran 17 even laps. Everyone behind 17 twos to 17 fours. Chapman with a run underneath. Oh, pushed up just a little bit, but luckily gets cleared up in front of Scott Rayome. Grandy, Chapman, Rayome, and Schaefer each up a spot.
Yeah, speaking of up spots, B-Temp, man, up 5 spots. He's doing it on the bottom. I'm watching him here in the back. He is just rolling the bottom, going where he where he has to go. Now as soon as he's opening up top, he's going to go up high here in 3 and 4. But man, he's coming quick, Marty. He's going to need a caution or two, though.
Him and Logan Wentz each up 4 positions right now. Wentz running in the 10th position. Now down in 11th. But man, once you get out of this pack, your car is blazing fast. And right now, the high side's the place to be here, Zach. Scott Rayome just made a good pass on Blake Chapman to take away 4th.
Yeah, and Blake's one of those guys who likes to commit himself to the bottom early. He talks about saving tires, so I imagine that's in his mindset right now. He doesn't need to go hard. He's going to hope that he gets a caution late, restack up the field, and then he'll have a lot of right rear left.
Kurt Schatzer now testing out the extreme high side right next to the cushion to see if he can gain him some ground. Nice exit off of turn number 2, closes in just a bit on Morano. I think Schatzer's better in 1 and 2 than Morano's just so good in 3 and 4.
Yeah, actually, no shot at Kurt, but I kind of thought Anthony would walk away with this thing. Kurt's doing a great job of just following those tire tracks and doing a good job of mirroring what he's doing, but at the same time trying to diamond off in different places, trying to pick up speed. So he is trying to make a move if he can.
Chapman and Dixon racing for 5th. Blake's either in trouble or he's saving his tires for the second half of this race. Now looking low on Rayome for the 4th position as Grandy has started to fade back just a little bit. 3 wide behind them with Templeton stuck in the middle for a moment.
And now Scott Rayome there peaked in the middle of 1 and 2 on Grandy, but didn't have the run to carry the momentum. Going to go back up behind him here in 3 and 4. But Blake Chapman through. Hello.
Man, Chapman sent it in deep. Rayome didn't see that coming. Had to let off the gas and had to steer up to avoid making contact, which would have created a big wreck. 11 laps in the books here at the moment. We take a look at our 10-lap average speed and show you. Actually, we don't have it up for you here just yet. We'll get that to you in just a moment. Battle for the lead, though. Schatzer underneath on Morano. However, though, 32 still cleared. First yellow flag waves of the night. And it's for Sam Bachman, Randy Shreves, Jason Butterfield. Most of it, though, coming from the 107.
Ooh, that's a hard hit.
Here's a look at that hard hit. Contact. Oh my, head on. Completely loses the front nose clip, the left front wheel. Ouch, oh Rama. Jason Butterfield you saw there with nowhere to go. Let's ride on board with Butters.
Well, you'll see Michael Vitale just try to do a crossover here, and there's somebody home.
Nowhere to go. I mean, he did have a second to react, but that second probably, even if he used it, would have had nowhere to go. Look at that, the radiator exposed off the 007.
I don't know if I've seen one of these get tore up that bad before. That's one of the worst hits we've seen.
Go on board with Bachman. Doesn't look that hard, but I swear, when you watch it from TV, it's vicious.
Oh yeah, you got to think. I mean, they're doing at least probably 70, 80 coming out of that corner, and just to suddenly stop like that and start spinning, just wow.
10-lap average show you who the best driver on track is. You can see how close it is. The slight advantage would have to be Dylan Kinsey, maybe Brandon Templeton. They seem to be the fastest drivers on track.
Yeah, it just shows how important at a track like this qualifying is, and getting yourself in that invert and trying to start up towards the front, because you see they've got the speed, they're very fast, but man, Marty, it's so hard to pass here and you just run out of laps so quick.
We are nearly halfway home. 14 complete when we come back to green. Watch this from the Chapman Racing drone shot. Morano, the control car, right to fire first. There he goes.
Grandy's going to be a little disappointed with himself. That's a tough start for the inside row behind your leader. You hope to go up there and battle for second.
3 wide for the bottom step of the podium. Butterfield sends it in. Same with Blake Chapman. Chapman lets off as they nearly touch. Advantage. Scott Rayon moves up to a podium spot now, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, Blake's there trying to make it work on the bottom. That kind of put Grandy in a tough spot. Rayon was able to capitalize here, but somehow Blake is making that very bottom work.
Probably saved the tires, and he nearly made it 4 wide there last time by. Up in the 4th position. Trouble behind them. McLaren, Barker, Butterfield. No caution, though. We remain under the green flag, and now the caution waves.
Yeah, not sure what the flagman was thinking. I think it took a...
Flagman's probably drunk.
Yeah, might be.
Show you what happened here in turn number 4. McLaren catches the Uke tire and then nowhere to go, both Barker and Butterfield. Now you're probably wondering at home, you know how we like to say, where's the usual saying of, we like to call these tires the Tory tires in the past. Well, it developed at Land of Legends Raceway, and this year the Tory tires that were all placed in turns 1 and 2, they have been replaced with not with Uke tires, but with guardrail, kind of like what you see at Williams Grove Speedway. The only Uke tires you'll now see are the restart and start zones in Canandaigua, which begins this Saturday. So as a result, to quote my buddy Steve Ovens, the Tory tires have been handed their walking papers.
Did not know that, Marty.
It was a good run while it lasted. So if you're a sprint car guy, you're probably glad that those tires are gone.
Scott Rayon, we've seen him kind of making his way up, trying to pick guys off. He's going to be a guy to watch here. He needs to be right on the back of that 32 and get a good jump and try to battle Kurt Schatzer before he gets that thing up to full song.
Second double file restart of the night here.
Keep an eye, too, like we talked about. Blake probably saved that right rear, Marty, and look at him on the outside P4.
Outside of row number 2, Morano's led every lap so far tonight as we're back to green. Look at Rayon, though. Probably had the best restart of every second-place driver tonight, Zach.
You are not kidding, Marty. I mean, he's battling for P1 going down the backstretch.
Oh, my. What an exit that the 4 had, and here comes Blake Chapman. Nearly 3 wide for the lead. Chapman has to back out of it. 12 to go. Here comes, I believe, Schatzer that fell back to 4th.
Yeah, I mean, any of these top 4 could win right now all fast. And I think it's just going to come down to preferred line.
Trouble! Big wreck behind them and no caution flag. We stay green. Morano hanging on to the point over the 444. Race controls letting them race for now. Still 3 wide. The accident is cleared.
Blake gets such a good run on the bottom coming off 1 and 2, and he's able to hold it here in 3 and 4. This is going to be a great finish.
Schatzer now trying to thread the needle for second. They touch. Oh my goodness. Are we going to go 4 wide for the lead? Nearly. Where in the world did the salesman come from? Trying to cash in some Galen's early, but he's down to second with 9 to go.
Yeah, and if you're Anthony Morano and you see this in your mirror, where do you go right now? You got 3 cars behind you, and they're coming fast, Marty.
The cream is rising to the top. Blake Chapman, the better race car than Anthony Morano at the moment. The 32 hanging on with 8 laps remaining.
Anthony Morano is just so quick in turns 3 and 4 that he makes up this time that Blake makes up right here on the bottom.
Oh, baby! Could this be it? Morano, though, so good on corner exit where he just hangs on to the lead. That time he edges out by a quarter panel. 7 remain.
I think Blake's best friend is going to be this 4 car. If Blake can get a big run here going down the backstretch, he needs the 4 car to throw it in there 3 wide and prevent
it. There it is! There it is! Chapman, does he have him cleared? Bad exit. I think, though, it was Chapman at the line with 6 remaining.
They're 3 wide.
This is insane. Chapman's got the 32 cleared. Rayom underneath for second. Clearly a new leader. 5 to go. Morano trying to fight back off for 4.
This is the struggle part, though, Marty. It just seems like he just gets up too high, and Blake just clears him by a car length.
Here comes the run for Morano once again. Still door to door with 4 laps remain. How do you fight back if you're Morano? He's trying everything on the outside, but it just seems like off for turn 2, he's fighting for too much real estate.
Yeah, I think if you're Morano, you got to hope to get a big enough run coming out of 4 that you can try to cross over Blake or cross under Blake and try to force him up. Blake is so comfortable in the bottom.
Oh, right, we got a yellow. Kurt Schatzer, Randall Dixon have crashed in 1. It's not over. Let's show you what happened with Superman. Racing with Grandy for, I believe, the 4th position. Pushes up, gets Dixon, and that's a big lick. Brandon Templeton also involved, but drives straight through. Oh, and look at that carnage. Alex Pomelo lifting all 4 wheels off the ground. On board with Randall Dixon. Look at all this traffic that just came through. Now watch Pomelo. This is the biggest impact right here of everybody. Runner, I think, got clipped by the 007, and he had nowhere to go. No time to react. Just caught Superman's cape and held on to it. Single file restart here for the rest of this race.
I think, that actually works out for the leader and second place because he knows he's not going to get by Blake on the high side. I mean, you just watched Blake drive by on the bottom, and he tried to put up a fight, but he couldn't get it done. So I think he just needs to get as close as he can to Blake, like Scott did to him on that restart. Just make Blake feel uncomfortable. Try to push him up out of that bottom line. But, man, the way Anthony's warming up his tires up top, Marty, I think he may be committed up there.
It's a green-white checker, though. No, not an attempted overtime, and a single-file restart. So Blake Chapman, as we like to say, gets a freebie lap. Morano, if he wants to win this one, he's going to have to throw the kitchen sink at Chapman. Steve King Foundation pace car on pit road.
Green flag.
Chapman fires back to green. Great job. Morano caught sleeping.
Yeah, with that restart, he's going to need to throw the dishwasher at him, too, because I don't know if he's going to have enough time.
Pushed up once again. Rayom with a big run for second. That's how Rayom had a great chance at taking the lead originally off the last restart. Off for turn number 4. White flag is out. We're on the last lap. And it's Blake Chapman out in front. Saved his tires in the Christ Sim Racing Galen's homegrown popcorn number 20. Came out clutch in the final few laps. It's raining kernels off for turn 4. Blake Chapman, checkered flag, the winner at Volusia. Morano second, Rayom third, Grandy fourth, Schaefer fifth, Randy Shreves, the hard charger from 19th to 10th.
I mean, that was the tortoise in the hare there, Marty. We talked about Blake. We were worried about him dropping through the back. We didn't know what was going on, but it just shows he saves those tires, Marty, and he's just on a different level than you and I can even comprehend.
It's his second win of the season. Won nearly a month ago at Kokomo, where he started second and finished first. Look at the race results here. Great run from Brandon Templeton after starting 16th. Climbed up the field to finish in 8th. And John Morano finishing the top 10 also had a great run. Michael Vecchio started 20th and finished in the 12th spot. Tough break for Schatzer, who ran consistently well, then caught up in the final yellow of the race. All right, let's see here. We've got our top 3, and we're going to begin with our third place finisher and Scott Rayom. Scott, a great race for you tonight, finishing third after starting sixth. Take me through, though, not the final restart, but the penultimate restart where you had a chance to take the lead from Morano at the time.
Yeah, I just couldn't get it to stay down on the bottom. I knew Blake was got around me down on the bottom coming out of 2, and I just couldn't pin it down there to get the run like he was getting. And I didn't want to go into 3 too hot and slide up in front of Anthony or Dorham. So kind of lifted a little bit, and then on the next, I think Anthony got by me, and then going down the straightaway, he managed to tag the wall and literally soiled myself. So I had to dive down low, and I'll settle for a third. I get a chance to talk to Marty.
That you do. What other takeaways do you have from tonight?
Felt real comfortable, actually. Wasn't great in my heat. Wasn't great in the warm-ups, and I don't know, the cars just fell in my place, I guess. And I'll definitely take a third when you're running with some of these guys. And I feel bad. I didn't mirror drive Grandy on that last restart. I was just hanging on, and the car was all over the place. So he kind of got in the back of me. I know it wasn't intentional, but it might look like I slid up there on purpose, but I definitely did not. I was just basically hanging on, trying to get a third. So apologize to Joe for that, but we'll take the third. Move on.
Who do you want to give shout-outs to on the run?
Well, first of all, I got to yell at you, Marty. You walked right by me at Atlanta Legends on Saturday. You couldn't even at least say hi.
Oh my goodness! And, I apologize for that, fam.
Yeah, I work on Frankie Guerri's Sportsman. So
okay.
Next time you're there, come on over to the back row gang and say hi.
I'll be calling the races May 11th. So just a heads up.
Perfect. Well, I can't get Frankie to say shout out our names when he does an interview, so maybe you can. I got to thank Heather for getting me this computer at Christmas time, man. This my fiance Heather. She got me this, and it's made a world of difference. I thank all the guys over at Full Throttle Motorsports, Gunner at Swan Speed Shops, DJs for these awesome rap, DJ Sim Shop, and God, I don't do these very often. I can't remember Dean at Super Dirt Car. I think that's it. I don't know. I got to put a dip in and calm down. So
you're telling me we have the girlfriend to blame for you getting so fast now? Well, at least we know who to blame.
Yeah. I mean, I always felt like I was fast, but I was on a gaming laptop, and I mean, the graphics on that aren't that great. And then she got me this at Christmas time, and it was like a light switch turned on, and it's like, wow. I mean, I can actually compete now. So feels good.
Alrighty, we'll let you go. Congratulations. I know, by the way, it's CRSA I'm doing 2 weeks, so.
Oh, all right. Yeah, well, I'm sure I'll see you around.
Yeah, you'll see me around there for sure. I'll see you there,
all
too.
Right, bud.
So.
All right, man.
Scott Rayone finishing third here tonight. Let's go to Anthony Morano, your second place finisher, and we have Zach to talk to him.
Well, Anthony, got to be heartbroken a little bit, man. Do you think you maybe let that one slip away from you tonight?
Yeah, I tagged the wall a few times there on running the outside with Blake, and then that caution was just the end game. But yeah, we'll take second and get to come up here and talk to the two guys that made me famous with the iRacing video. So we're ready to go.
Marty and I were talking about that before we went live. How cool that is! How awesome is that to make the iRacing? Yeah, for everyone out there, for the little inside information, this is the man who our league made the iRacing not top 10 this month, and Anthony is the one who pulled off the immaculate flip.
Yeah, and I've got, I won all these championships and trophies, and got all these feature winner stickers. But iRacing seems to be crashing it. That's what gets on there. But no, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty stoked about it. I mean, not everyone gets on that list either, so it's pretty cool to make something on iRacing.
No, and you said it yourself. It kind of stinks whenever all your championships, all your wins don't get acknowledged like that. But sometimes the worst can. But it's cool that you can play it off as a joke and just have fun with it like we do. It's pretty neat to be part of that experience. But Anthony, good run tonight, man. Able to bring it home in second. Possibly could have had that win if you stayed out of the wall. But good job. You got anybody you want to thank on the P2?
Yeah, I got to thank my wife Sherry, my teammates at FTM. Dean at Super Dirt Car, Logan at Hi Mom Lens, Swan Speed Shop, Expert Installation, GripHack.com, MDI TV, DJ Sim Shop, Marty and Zach, you guys for doing the broadcast and running coast to coast.
Well, congratulations, Anthony, and you gonna run some big blocks with us next?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, hopefully we're talking to you again, brother.
All right, Zach. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Yep. Have a good one.
So that's Anthony Morano, our second place finisher. Now we go to Extreme eSpeed TV Victory Lane to talk with your winner, Blake Chapman. Blake, what a win for you tonight. Saving tires once again. I know that's what you like to do. That was the name of the game tonight.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, especially in those last couple laps. But I really didn't know where I wanted to run coming into the feature. I figured the bottom. I really like running the bottom in these cars, but that middle and top was fast all night for me. But early on in the feature, I tried running the top, and it didn't really feel very good. And the middle was definitely the place to be, but everybody was there, so it's kind of like, well, I only got one option left, and that's to go down low and see if it works. And I struggled getting into one pretty much all night, but that exit of 2 was really what catapulted me up there, up to the front, and I was able to hit 3 and 4 really, really well, even though the middle was a faster line, and really like seeing that caution there at the end. And I know Anthony had tapped the wall a couple times, which allowed me to get around him.
I didn't realize that, actually, that Morano caught the wall. I thought he was just running really high, trying to fight for as much clay as possible, though. But talk to me about the low line. Was it just at the same time, were you just trying to drive it in, get it to become the preferred lane there, late in the race on your end specifically?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was hoping for. Going down there early on in the race, it's like, well, if I keep running this in and those guys keep running that middle, and maybe that'll get wore out a little bit and this bottom will really come in. I think the last race I ran here a while ago, that bottom came in, so that's what I was hoping for. And that bottom, I think even a couple more laps, the bottom would have even got quicker. So definitely happy I chose to go down there.
Who do you want to give shout-outs to on this run? I know that you're going to be celebrating with one specific way tonight, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, first I got to thank the family for watching and supporting. Got to thank all the guys at the Krite Sim Racing team, at the Can-Am Racing team. Got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps, Andy at Ancient Custom Creations. And, I'm going to be celebrating with some of that Galen's Gourmet popcorn. You guys know it's some of the best stuff out there. And if you go online and order, don't forget to use code CART at checkout for 15% off of your purchase. And I got to thank you guys for putting this broadcast on.
Alrighty, well, we'll let you go. Congrats on the win, Blake. A big win for you, and best of luck in the big blocks.
Thanks, Marty.
The salesman, Blake Chapman, gets it done. Second win of the season. I know Dean is craving some popcorn right now. He may be eating some right now while at the Crunch game. So, alrighty, let's step aside and go to break. When we come back, the big blocks take flight here at Fallujah. Stay with us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a
hiatus, so let's get right when we talked about it.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
Welcome back to the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and yes, that is a live picture of Brandon Templeton racing on 3 wheels. You know, we always like to say that you sometimes just need 3 wheels to race. The left front always goes up, down the straightaways, and then the corners. Templeton has shown that even with lap times off by probably about like maybe 6-7 tenths, you can actually race with the with only 3 wheels here, Zach. This is amazing.
Yeah, I imagine a restart might get a little hairy with only 3 wheels, but once you get that thing going and you get it leading the way it is, man, I said it in that small block race whenever I believe Grandy clipped those inside tires. I said, you don't need that left front anyway, and, you know, this kind of proves it.
Big block scheme set to go, brought to you by Full Throttle Motorsports. Marty Sakala with you alongside Zach Chapman. Trying to see here how long we have until we get things going here. We should be going by now, since we're at 7:30. While we were at it, let's talk about the drivers to watch out for. And I think it's the same 2 drivers we saw battling for the win, Anthony Morano and Blake Chapman. Through 6 races of the season, they've combined for 5 of the 6 wins, with the other win going to Brandon Templeton. Morano's 1-2, and Blake Chapman's 1-3. Those are the 3 drivers you got to watch closely.
Yeah, and you know it's those 3 for a reason. We talked to Blake a little bit about tire wear. Not a huge deal in the small blocks. You know, the last race we were in, they are a big deal, but man, not anywhere near like these puppies. You really got to be sensitive with the throttle if you want to go fast at the end, because if you're hammered down early, you burn up that right rear tire, you are going to pay for it in the slip.
Want to know something funny as well right now, Zach? Speaking of B-Temp racing on 3 wheels, and I'm not kidding, he is the quickest driver on the track. And now he'll get a left front Hoosier on that ride, and we'll begin qualifying. 22 drivers with us this evening.
Yeah, you see, he parked it on the backstretch. He was afraid to park it on the scales, Marty.
Yeah, that thing probably would not weigh 2,500 pounds with the driver in the car. So, all right, 2 minutes of qualifying. All the drivers have. Again, let us know who you're rooting for here tonight. Hello to Joseph Grandy saying that was a fun, good race. Trevor Giroux rooting for Venom Racing and says he should make a comeback. Patrick Spangler, when it came to, that one incident where that guy went head on. Actually, no, this was three-wheel Templeton. Reminds him of when Bloomquist hit the inside tire and finished a heat race with only 3 tires. And Giroux
yeah, that's
thought
great.
the same thing.
Yeah, when it folded underneath. I forgot all about that.
Michael Vitale, the quickest driver at a 16:19 off of turn number 4. Quick time, John Morano. 16:14 for the 33. Oh my goodness. How about that if he were able to get the quickest time here in qualifying?
Yeah, and look who's right behind him now, P2. Jeff Barker. Look at the front row.
That is awesome. They would each start 4th in heat race number 2. Alex Pomelo, meanwhile, 6th quickest in qualifying. 16:23. Blake Chapman, 7th quick. Also 16:23. Second lap for Pomelo is a 16:34. Second lap for Blake Chapman, slower. So John Morano is the quickest. How about it, folks? Good for him.
If you pick this front row, I want you to send me the 5 Powerball numbers.
What's the jackpot at tonight, do you know?
Oh, man, I have no idea.
Or whenever the next drawing is. We'll have to look.
I know there for a while it was in the 600s, like 600 million.
Yeah. Powerball jackpot is at $203 million.
I'll take that.
So, if you guess that for the top 2 in qualifying, you would win $200 million right now. So, all right, time for Heat 1, brought to you by Flatline Racing Bodies. Here's the starting lineup. Michael Vecchio on pole position. Next to him, it's the salesman Blake Chapman in the 20. Row number 2, Randall Dixon in the 011 and John Morano in the 033. Row 3, Dylan Kinsey in the 083 next to Jason Butterfield Butters in the 93. And in row 4, Anthony Morano in the 32 and Bob DeGood in the 7. That's shocking to see Morano start in the back here tonight.
Yeah, and it's even tougher to pass in these things than it is the small blocks, especially on this tacky track. So he's going to be really kicking himself after that qualifying effort. And, I mean, he's been struggling qualifying a little bit these big blocks, to be honest with you. Struggled last Tuesday, and we're seeing it now. But whenever it comes race time, he's ready to go.
Green flag is out for Heat 1. Here we go. James Bond with a good start in Vecchio with Blake Chapman behind him in second. Side by side for 4th. Meanwhile, it could be 3 wide actually. Chapman, though, looking for the lead off of the corner. Vecchio leads lap 1, has Chapman clear, but the race is on for 4th.
Yeah, John Morano is getting good runs on exit, but just struggling a little bit in the middle of the corner here in 3 and 4. We'll have to see if he can hammer it down. Oh, he's going to get some help.
Randall Dixon moved him up. Jason Butterfield catches the bumper and a hard crash for Bob DeGood. Focus up front, though, for the lead. Blake Chapman, half a car length. Behind the 007, Vecchio, quickest lap last time by to 16:27. This time, Chapman cut down just about 200, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, he's a little quicker when he gets to see that mottled line in front of him, but right now on this track, without, well, you saw John Morano, he got some help around earlier. I don't think it's going to be easy to pass without getting into the guy in front of you right now.
The biggest factor in dodging that wreck, Anthony Morano started 7th. He is up to 4th position. Should he get past Dylan Kinsey here? White flag is out, 1 to go for Vecchio, Zach.
Yeah, Blake Chapman's all over the back of him, but he's just not going to be close enough here. Lost time on the exit of 1 and 2. Not going to be close enough to make a move in 3 and 4.
Here comes Vecchio off at turn number 4. He'll start on pole position tonight for our 30-lap feature. Chapman second, Dixon third, Morano fourth, Anthony Morano fourth, Kinsey fifth, John Morano sixth, followed by Butterfield, Andy Good.
Yeah, heart's got to be breaking for John Morano. Good qualifying effort, and then kind of gets it stripped away from him.
Next heat brought to you by Full Throttle Motorsports, the official sponsor of the big blocks in the Coast to Coast Racing League. Matt Schaefer on pole position in the 183. Next to him, Randy Shreves in the 56. Row number 2, B-Temp, Brandon Templeton in the 31. And the Brute to Beast, Jeff Barker in the 513. Row 3, Logan Wentz in the 118 and Glenn Sharp in the 099. Rounding out the grid here tonight, Harold Klump in the 555.
Now, Marty, you call me crazy, but look at just the green on that 83 on the front. You think it looks ugly, all right? Then it goes to the side. When you put that green with that purple, that may be one of my most favorite paint jobs I've ever seen.
If you put that paint scheme in the daytime, when you look at it up close, it's very nice.
Yeah, that thing looks great.
Green, green, green.
Green flag is out. Here we go. Bad jump for the 183. Could allow Templeton to get underneath.
Yeah, it just looked like Shreves got that car real straight coming out of 4. That's his experience. Had it angled straight towards the finish line. He was able to stomp on the throttle, whereas Schaefer just kind of had to roll into it.
So Shreves who leads lap number 1. Oh, look out. Glenn Sharp really sideways. Entered the corner, but luckily he's able to save it. Window single file entering the 3rd corner. Best race on track is for 2nd, Schaefer and Templeton. Meanwhile, quickest lap to Randy Shreves, the 16:33, Zach.
Yeah, Randy Shreves got that clean air, able to run wherever he wants. The boy's got to go low or go high to go around him. He's going to take that middle line, which Blake told us last feature was definitely the preferred line.
Templeton catches the
Templeton
wall.
got the wall.
Yeah. Barker go for 3rd. 2 to go though in heat 2. Still Randy Shreves. All constant times, consistent times by the top 3 from 16:30s all the way up to 16:05s. Coming to one lap to go here. Saw Barker get a little sideways. This could help out Logan Wentz pick up another spot.
Yeah, Barker's going to get a good run, though, in the bottom of 1 and 2. Look to maybe shut the door here, or maybe doesn't think he needs to here. He's coming out of 4 for the final time.
Randy Shreves wins the heat race. Matt Schaefer 2nd, Brandon Templeton 3rd, Jeff Barker in 4th, Logan Wentz 5th, Harold Klump 6th, and Glenn Sharp 7th. Moving on to heat race number 3, brought to you by Glenridge Motorsports Park. Here's the lineup. Sam Bachman on pole position. Next to him, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler in the 39. Row number 2, Alex Pablo in the 397. Next to Michael Vitale in the 213. Row 3, Steven Stewart in the 29 and Scott Rayome in the 444. Rounding out the grid, Tally Ulibarri in the 19. All right, I'm going to step aside here real quick and grab a drink here just before the green. Zach, if they do go green, I'll let you take the start.
Sounds like a plan, my man. Yeah, final heat of the night here. Definitely got to keep your eye on that 39, Patrick Spangler. If he can get the start that Randy Shreves got last time, I believe it is an advantage to be on that high side, just hammer down. And these things, we've seen it in past features. The guys on the bottom especially, when they get in the gas too hard, too quick, they want to hike up the hill, they want to turn right. And if Patrick gives him no room, it kind of dictates the start. So Patrick's going to look to try to pinch him down here. Pace car is off, and we'll be looking for the green flag, and green is out. Patrick with a good jump up top, able to pull even, but Samuel Bachman's going to keep it down on the bottom of 1 and 2. Not going to try to float up in front of the 39 of Patrick Quinn. Now he is going to float up in the middle of 3 and 4. That 39 is going to look to diamond out of the corner. He's going to have a run. He's going to be at the door. Is he going to throw a slide job in 1 and 2?
Yes, he will. Chapman, though, cannot get the 107 cleared just yet, but they have pulled away from Pomelo, Vitale, and Stewart, who are nearly 3 wide. I think it was Spangler that led lap 2 just barely there, Zach.
Yeah, and we had a big wreck at the start-finish line. 2 guys sideways, and we got somebody else missing a left front tire, Michael Vitale, so we'll have to see if he can do the Brandon Templeton special.
Oh my, look at that. That suspension, or the shock I should say rather, is dragging on that ride. Can't see the sparks, but it really is dragging it. Look at
Leaders
this.
change lanes.
They are still side by side for the lead here with 2 to go.
Yeah, Patrick with the preferred line coming out of 4, but I think if they hook this up right, you want to be on the bottom in 1 and 2, so you can really see both lines fight each other right now.
Ooh, Bachman just pushed up a little bit. However, though, they're still door to door. Spangler has the lead at the line. 1 lap to go. Let's see what Bachman here does, Zach.
Yeah, he's got a good run in the middle of the corner,
Gotta
but
throw
Patrick
it.
gets it all back.
He's got to throw the slide job here. Slide job. Spangler counters side by side. Oh my goodness!
Samuel Bachman.
What a slider by Bachman to win by 0.02 of a second.
Oh my gosh, that is how it's done.
Let's step aside and go to break and catch our breaths. When we come back, it's feature time. So stay with us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Warm-ups continuing here at Volusia Speedway Park. Hey, just a reminder, late models coming up next will not be broadcasted by Slide Job Racing Network. Extreme eSpeed TV will have the coverage, so once the big blocks go off air, we will go black for about a second or two. And then if you're watching on Coast to Coast Racing Network. On Slide Job Racing Network, we'll be done for the night. Coast to Coast, we'll have it black for a couple seconds, and then break will be underway by Travis. Scott Rayome quickest at a 16:43, up 500ths on Blake Chapman. Followed by Brandon Templeton, Anthony Morano, and Randall Dixon. Nice car count, 22 drivers with us for the big blocks. 22 and I believe, what was it, 20 or 21 for 358s tonight, Zach? I want to say it was 20.
Yeah, you may be right. Yeah, I think we went 7-7-6 in the heat. So yeah, I think you're right.
Alrighty. Feature time here. Let's meet the starting lineup presented by RSN Trackside. On the pole, Michael Vecchio in the 007. Next to him, it's Randy Shreves in the 56. Row number 2, Sam Bachman in the 107. And the salesman, Blake Chapman in the 20. Row 3, Matt Schaefer in the 183. And Patrick Spangler, the high side banger, in the 39. Row number 4, Randall Dixon in the 011. And B-Temp, Brandon Templeton in the 31. Rounding out the top 10 this evening, Alex Pablo in the 397 and Anthony Morano in the 32. Row 6, the Brute to Beast, Jeff Barker in the 513 and Scott Rayome in the 444. Row number 7, it's Dylan Kinsey in the 083 and Logan Wentz in the 118. Row number 8 rather, Talon Ulibarri in the 19 and John Morano in the 33. Rounding out the grid here tonight, Harold Klump in the 555, Steven Stewart in the 29, Bob Digo in the 1, Glenn Sharp in the 99, Michael Vitale in the 213, and Butters, Jason Butterfield in the 93. Time for picks on who's going to win this one. Zach, who do you got?
Blake Chapman's going to get the double tonight.
You think Blake's going to get the double? I don't know. I tell you what, I think Sam Bachman's going to take this win from third this evening. We'll see what happens, though.
Well, we've got row 2 locked down.
Let us know who your pick to win is in the chat. We're moments away from going green.
I just love the rumble these big blocks have when they're rolling around. It's such a beautiful sound.
Who doesn't love the rumble of the ground shaking, earth chasing, window rattling beats of the Northeast? I think that's how you call it. But anyway, ready for the Lucy Olson start. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Showtime at Fallujah. The ground pounding, earth shaking, window rattling beasts of the Northeast make their way up for turn number 2. 3 wide for the top spot. Sam Bachman looks his way underneath at the line for lap 1. Give it to Randy Shreves. Third, I believe, was Blake Chapman.
Yeah, I think Randy Shreves for sure has the preferred line right now, but Samuel Bachman, he's doing what Blake Chapman did in that last feature. He gets a good run off the bottom there in 2.
Matt Schaefer currently rounds out the top 5, the 183. Never mind, it was Patrick Spangler. They got fifth of the line, and oh man, something happened with Vecchio where he went up the hill. I don't know if there was contact from Patrick Spangler though, but Vecchio all the way down to 7th as Spangler looks for 3rd.
Yeah, now Vecchio's around. Looked like he got help from the 32, Anthony Morano. Not sure what else Morano could have done there, but man, Vecchio, tough lap for him.
So first yellow flag waves tonight. Just look at the Malcolm Mills replay. Yep, just a bump. Yeah, it's just way too close, and yeah, just a racing deal, product of dirt track racing. Nothing Morano could do. That was pretty much, to say the least, unavoidable contact.
Yeah, no, and you see as soon as he does lift out of it, he gets hit from behind from the 397, so he lifts out any earlier, same thing. It's just the product of dirt racing and being that close. This track just doesn't look as beat up as it was there in the small box, and with the way Randy Shreves loves to run the high side, yeah, I think if he just doesn't make a mistake, this is a perfect race for him.
He'll have the preferred line, but I believe he's selecting the bottom for this restart. That's a little surprising to me.
Yeah, well, I think he's kind of floating up top there. It looked like maybe he wanted the high side, but yeah, it looks like Samuel Bachman's going to try to force him to the bottom here. I hope he takes that.
Ready to come back to the green flag.
Gotta wonder though too if that's a little bit of game planning by Randy Shreves, because he knows how good Blake Chapman is on the bottom, and I mean that's where Bachman was running as well.
Green, green, green.
Maybe get those two to race each other.
Green flag is back out. Shreves able to hold serve off of turn 2. Blake Chapman now in second. And again, he loves the low line with the big blocks here. Going after Shreves for the lead, but Shreves has the 20 clear. For third, it's Bachman over Spangler.
Yeah, Spangler had to get on the binders there. Good job of not getting into Blake Chapman, but man, he's going to have Brandon Templeton now all over the outside of him.
Chapman still trying to go to the point. Not working though. Fourth spot change. Brandon Templeton started 8th. He's up to 4th. Currently your biggest move of the race early here, Zach.
Yeah, and that's a good job for him. Only got the benefit of one guy spinning out, so he's had to earn all those spots. Good run for him.
Top 5 all pretty much single file. Anthony Morano up 3 positions now. He's up to 7th. And now we see the 107 of Bachman trying to go the neutral groove for the second spot, but cannot get up to that quarter panel. No matter what groove you're in the big block, you're getting a heck of an exit.
Yeah, and you know, I think it's got to be a little concerning for everyone around Blake Chapman and Patrick Spangler, because they're doing it on the bottom, saving a lot of tire, being real gentle with the car. So that just means they're going to have that much more left at the end. And right as I say, Patrick's being gentle. He throws it in there for a slider.
Yeah, sent it in deep, got 4th position at the line, took that one out of Sam Bachman's playbook. In fact, that was actually the quickest lap of the race in 16.7. So we know the slider line is the place to be. B-Temp counters it back to 4th he goes.
And these, meanwhile, second and third slowly reeling in your leaders. We're almost 3 wide.
Yeah, that got very tight to being 3 wide for the race lead. Here comes Chapman downstairs, trying to do the same move that he did to Anthony Morano to get the win in the 3:58 moments ago, but it's Shreves that has the lead by a car.
Yeah, if you're Blake, you're just praying there's no caution right now, because it seems like he's real good on the long run. He doesn't want to have to try to fight his way back into this position again.
Bachman thinking about threading the needle. Chapman's hoping the same thing that he hoped that Rayom was going to do back in the 3:58 feature. Hope that Bachman sends it.
No, you're exactly right, because it kind of forces that front guy to stay up high the whole way in 3 and 4 rather than to be able to diamond out, and that's where they get all their speed. So if he could force that into a 3 wide battle, the bottom line becomes the preferred line real quick.
Top 3 cars here. The best 3 drivers so far in this feature. Pull up the second place driver, show you how everybody's looking. Bachman, better car at the moment. Jason Fanton checking in. Thanks for joining us this evening as we have completed lap number 12 here in this feature.
Yeah, Blake drove it in real deep that time, able to get on the binders, still keep it on the bottom and attack. He's going to have P2 back at the line this time.
Not able, though, to close in on Randy Shreves. What are you thinking here if you're the 56 with 2 cars behind you that are very fast at the same time?
Like I say, I'm kind of worried because he's doing it on the high side, so he's burning his stuff up the fastest. So he's going to have the least amount left here as we get into within 10 to go soon.
Just wait. This is how Blake Chapman likes to cook. This is how Anthony Morano likes to cook during our open 358 features that we have on Monday nights to begin Monday Night Madness. Chapman's got the 107 clear. Now he can set his sights towards the 56. Trouble for Dylan Kinsey and I believe Jeff Barker.
Yeah, and Blake doesn't want to hear you say that because he's passing for the lead right now, Marty.
Could go to the point off for 4. We'll see. Shreves, I think, got him at the line, and they're approaching Jeff Barker.
Blake gets such a good run here on the bottom of 1 and 2. He's going to be able to go
Cleared
up and
him.
shut the door on Shreves.
Could wash up the track if he wanted to. Don't give Shreves the open lane off of turn 4, though. Blake still has Shreves cleared. This time he does it a little early with 12 laps to go in this feature.
Yeah, unbelievable. Blake's that fast and comfortable on the bottom right now that he didn't even think about shutting the door on Shreves there. He left the door wide open and said, come and get it, man.
Daniel Nelligan, Caleb Boatwright checking in on Slide Job Racing Network. Thanks for joining us. Chapman's got him cleared right now. You now go to the race for the 4th spot. Brandon Templeton and Matt Schaefer Give credit as well to the man in 11th position, Michael Vitale. Spun out under the first. Nope, excuse me, that was Michael Vecchio. Vitale started 21st up to 11th, and a wreck nearly happened behind him. It may happen. 3 wide all over the place for 13th on back.
Yeah, and somebody like Michael Vitale is begging for a wreck right now. They've shown they have speed, and man, we're 10 to go. They need to field the bunch back up.
10 laps to go in this feature. We'll get you the 10-lap average once again in just a matter of moments. There it is. Everyone pretty tight when it comes to lap times, but it's Matt Schaefer and Blake Chapman that are currently racking off some quick laps. In fact, Schaefer challenging the 31 at Templeton for 4th.
Yeah, Schaefer may be able to get Templeton, but without a caution here, he's going to have a tough look at the podium unless he can do this quick.
That was tight. Bachman has actually lost a lot of time to Randy Schrees. In fact, he's trying to go after Chapman still for this race lead with 7 to go, so it's not over yet here, Zach.
No, it seems like that top line's getting faster in 3 and 4. Schrees is getting big runs. That's where he's making up all this time. Just needs to make sure he quits climbing up over the hill here in 1 and 2.
That was a heck of a run off for 3 and 4. Does it come off for 1 and 2? Not really. Caution for Bob DeGood. And that has changed everything with 5 to go in this feature.
I think if you're Randy Schrees, this is maybe the last thing you wanted, because now you're going to get pressure from behind.
And it's a single file restart. DeGood catches the wall in turn 3, up on 2 wheels and out. Oh, no, it didn't go out of the ballpark, but caught the retaining wall to keep the car in the racetrack.
Yeah, Bob did a good job of keeping that thing up in the fence and not bringing it down in front of the rest of the field.
Now, if this is a sprint car on Monday nights, easily a flip and easily an instant tow to the pits.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm not sure if Bob had a quick repair left or not, but he did call it a night there after that one, so he just decided enough was enough.
Don't rely on either the late models or the Xfinity Series coming up. Gary Spangler checking in. Thanks for joining us tonight. Now, how are you going to get this win if you're Randy Schreves, but maybe Sam Bachman? He finally gets to cool his tires here for the restart.
Yeah, you know, you almost got to use that chrome horn a little bit, Marty. There's nothing wrong with bumping a guy a little bit. You know, there's a difference between moving him out of the way and wrecking him. And we're to the point now, if a guy's in your way with only 5 to go, you got to move him. You don't have time to be patient.
Single file start with 5 laps to go. Can Blake Chapman sweep the mods here tonight?
Green flag, green flag.
Pretty impressive jump from Randy Schrees, but 3rd place on back stacks up. Templeton with a run for 4th position on Schaefer. All the way upstairs is Spangler, meanwhile, for 6th, Zach.
Yeah, Spangler's trying to make a new line up there. He's the only one that high, but let's see what kind of run he carries here.
Bachman caught the wall. Bachman had caught the wall, went up the hill. Caution once again. Glenn Sharp has crashed, as well as Harold Klump. And again, we rack them and stack them back up, this time with 3 to go.
Yeah, Harold Klump got in the wall in front of Glenn. Nothing Glenn could really do about that one.
He's got it there in the end. Watch here from Klump's onboard. Maybe able to see some sparks in front of the modified. Oh, but you could hear it. You could hear the clang. Ryan Dickens checking in. He says, great entertainment for the ride home from work. Definitely appreciate it. We've got 20 viewers here tonight. That's awesome. A reminder, coming up next will be the late model portion of our program. That should be broadcasted by our friends at Extreme E-Speed TV.
And if you're Samuel Bachman this time, Marty, you got to get a better restart here if you want to go win this thing.
Yes, you do. Much better restart this time. Lights are off. The salesman looking to sweep.
Green flag, green flag.
Chapman
Yeah.
holds serve. Great restart for him.
Yeah, Bachman caught sleeping again, and now Schaefer's all to his inside trying to take that final podium spot here.
How about this? Didn't see Matt Schaefer making his way up here 3 wide for second with 2 to go.
You heard me call that green ugly. He needs to get up here and yell at me.
I may force him to yell at you. Here they come off of turn number 4. White flag is out. 1 lap to go. Shreves edges out Bachman for third at the line.
Yeah, you're just seeing Shreves really struggle on the high side. I think that right rear is gone.
Down the back, Blake Chapman in the Kreitz Sim Racing. Galen's homegrown popcorn, number 20. Off of turn 4, get your broomsticks out because Blake Chapman just swept Volusia for the mods. Schaefer second, Shreves third, Templeton fourth, fifth to Bachman. Vitale the biggest mover from 21st to 10th.
Bachman had P3 coming to the line, Marty, clipped the tire coming to the start finish line. Lost third, fell to fifth. Oh, I wondered what happened to him.
You hate to see it. So Chapman, your winner by 7/10 of a second. Morano finishing 7th. Had a good run tonight after starting 10th. I mentioned Vitale, the biggest mover of the race. Nice job from Butterfield tonight, finishing 15th. Started back in 22nd. Dylan Kinsey trying to photobomb with little burnouts in the background. Then tough breaks for Michael Vecchio, Glenn, Harold Klump, and Bob DeGood tonight. So just waiting on the top 3 to come in. Again, a reminder, we've got late models coming up next on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. And we just need Schaefer here, and we are good to go. Let's begin with Randy Shreves with a good run for him, finishing in 3rd position. Randy, a nice job for you tonight, man, and getting 3rd just barely at the end. Walk us through the second half of the race. Where did you feel that Blake was a lot better than you?
Yeah, I knew he was coming there on the bottom. He's always good on the bottom. He's always good anywhere he goes. But, I'd seen him coming down there at the bottom, and, yeah, there was really nothing I can do. I can't run the bottom like him, so I just had to kind of run my line. And, I tried a few different things. Tried to run the low side, and then, I don't know. I just tried to hold on for dear life there at the end.
What positives do you take away from this run tonight?
I really don't drive these too often anymore, but, just kind of got to be gentle with the throttle with these things and, just hold your line and keep her straight.
Who do you want to give shout-outs to on the run?
Definitely want to thank Coast to Coast for putting on this league. LGR Motorsports, ABR Setup Shop, Redline Design Company, One Wish Foundation, Wraps and Stitches, KSB Builders, Finish Line Repair, and of course you, Marty, for the broadcast. You and Jack up there do an awesome job, and I want to thank everybody for watching.
Yeah, hey Randy, I wanted to say something real quick. I saw you put on Facebook, it was your dad's birthday yesterday, and I can only imagine what it would be like for me without my dad. So how cool, man, you get to steal your dad a birthday podium there.
Yeah, it feels awesome, man. And last night was definitely awesome. He would have loved it. I know he was there watching over us, so yeah, it was a great night.
Well, congrats, Randy.
Yep, Randy will
Thanks,
let you
guys.
go. Great job.
Thank you.
Let's go to our second place finisher in Matt Schaefer. I'll start this off here before we flip over to Zach here. Matt, you got a copy? Your mic's on mute. Just a heads up.
What's going on, Marty?
What's going on, Matt? Hey, I want to begin with this before Zach takes this interview. This guy said that that the green and the purple on your car was ugly tonight before he zoomed on it.
No, you got to go back and listen to it. I said, looking at it from the front, I said, when you just see that green, I said, that's one of the ugliest cars I've ever seen. And then when you look on the side and you mix in that purple with a little bit of red, I said, that's one of the best paint jobs I've ever seen. So it's only, that's kind of cool that I get to interview you here for P2 because I kind of fell in love with that scheme after thinking how ugly it was.
Well, I appreciate it. I just literally got it today. It's actually a throwback paint to a family friend and Dirt Hall of Famer Brian Swartzlander when he drove his green and purple car back at Lernerville.
Well, I'll tell you what, they knew what they were doing when they painted that thing. And, it looks like you know how to drive it. Matt, you started towards the front. But, kind of were slipping around there in the early to middle part of the race. But, man, right at the end, you turned it on. Did you save some tire for the end?
I guess I might have. I didn't do that on purpose. I was just trying to run that bottom groove, and I guess I was saving some tire. I was really upset. I was yelling at the screen when that last caution came out because I had Bachman for third. I at least wanted a top three. I never expected to get second. So I'm just lucky the cards fell my way.
Yeah, that was kind of the key to, getting yourself to even battling for third, let alone second. Man, you did an excellent job on those restarts, back to back. You really were catching Sam sleeping. Talk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, it was kind of hard for me to see the leader whenever they were firing, especially with the pace car since Blake was running the logo line there. So I kind of stayed a little bit to the right so I could at least see the pace car get off, and so I was able to see Blake fire. So then whenever he fired, I fired, and I just kind of eased into the throttle, and I was able to get some good restarts there.
Well, hey, man, experience pays off, and peeking out to the right, that's something you learn over time, and you showed you got 2 spots with that deal, so good job. Congrats on the second place. You got anybody you want to thank tonight?
Appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. I want to definitely thank Nick Ham for the awesome paint. He does Ham lettering, Ham Speed, who everybody at the shop, everyone's been really, really good as far as trying to get me to be a better driver, spatial awareness, throttle control. That's Randy Johnson, Kenny Cudney, Drew Alton. He's a big part. Damian Ward. A lot of the big names really been helping me out here. Also like to thank Verizon for keeping me employed so I can do this every week. My dog Bentley, my Bulldogs, he helps me spot whenever I'm on the track. My dad, he always watches the races. My mom, my sister, my wife for letting me do this.
Well, hey, hell of a job tonight, Matt, and man, hopefully we're talking to you again next Thursday.
I'm gonna try to make that happen. So I appreciate talking to you guys, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.
Sounds like a plan, Matt.
Thanks. Have a good night, guys.
You too. Matt Schaefer finishing in second. Now we go to the man that repeats tonight, Blake Chapman. I don't know if I should ask you the same question, but you pretty much did it the same way you did in the 358s on the bottom. This time it happened a lot earlier than when it was crunch time.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't know if I was going to be able to run that bottom like I did in a big block, but hey, it worked out, and I felt really good down there in the warm-up, and the opportunity presented itself pretty early for me to move down there. So made the move down there. I got a restart, was on the bottom, was able to make a pass, and worked on Randy there for a little bit and was able to get around him, and got a couple cautions at the end, which I thought was good because I felt like the bottom was going away just a little bit, especially on entry, and was able to get the job done again.
Did you think that it was going to be tough to pass? Because we normally hear, with the big blocks, it's a lot tougher to pass than the small blocks. But did you feel like that it was going to be a tough race passing-wise, or no?
No, not too much. I don't feel like that's ever really the case here much at Volusia because it's just such a wide track and you can run so many different lanes. But definitely with the big blocks, it gets a little tougher to pass. But yeah, starting up front, fortunately, I didn't have to worry about passing too many cars. So definitely the key tonight was starting up front and getting good starts and working that bottom.
Who do you want to give shout-outs to on the run once again?
Yeah, I got to thank Mom and Dad for watching. Got to thank all the guys at the Kreitzim Racing team and the Can-Am Racing team. Got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps, Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. Definitely got to celebrate with some of that. And if you go online, don't forget to use code CART at checkout for 15% off of your purchase. And I got to thank you guys for putting this broadcast on.
They have barbecue sauce now, Blake.
Yeah, Zach.
I looked after your last interview. I had to check the website.
Yeah, Blake. Why have you been saying that?
Well, I've got to order some of that. That sounds good.
It does sound
what
good.
I'm saying.
So, alrighty, Blake. We'll let you go. Congratulations on sweeping the mods. Well done.
Thanks, Marty.
All right, Blake Chapman gets it done. One more guy we got to bring in here, and that, of course, is Travis Piercefield, who will be taking you the rest of the way home with our late model coverage. Travis, coming on in, we got Anthony Morano off to a great start. 2 wins on the season. What do you think it's going to take to win at Volusia tonight in the late models, though?
Well, coming into Volusia, we have a smaller field here tonight, Marty, so it's going to be able to get up front and hold on to that lead, I think, and having Zach on the call with me, should have some great racing here to close out the night with some dirt racing action before we head over to Dover.
Awesome. Good to hear. So if you're watching on Slide Job Racing Network, we're going to log off and say goodbye. If you're watching on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, we're going to have a little bit of a loading time, slower load time for a couple of seconds. You'll see some black. Then when we come back, you'll have the commercial breaks and then late model action. So stay with us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network on Slide Job Racing Network. He was Zach Chapman. I'm Marty Sakala. Blake Chapman, you're winning the mods. So long.
welcome back to Volusia Speedway Park as Thursday Night Thunder presented by Gambler Motorsports continues here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. As usual for the Pro Late Models, I am Travis Pearsall with Extreme eSpeed TV, joined by Zachary Chapman tonight. And Zach, I know you've turned some laps around this Volusia Speedway in a late model. What should we expect here tonight from the Pro Late Model division?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same kind of lap some of these other guys turn, Travis, but I definitely try. But, not a big car count tonight, so I don't think the track's going to get too beat up. You're going to want to try to get that bottom rolling early. That's going to be what's quick, I think, and you're just going to maybe have to get the elbows out to move Gotti out of your way if they're a little slow. But Rubbin's racing in these things, and I expect a good, hard 30 laps tonight.
Right now we've got about 16 cars out here, and as Marty mentioned, a good night here for Anthony Morano, which a good night before the Pro Late Models happen for Anthony Morano means more things to come from him, as he has been dominant here in the Pro Late Model this year. Currently down, though, 8th fastest, Kurt Schatzer, Brandon Templeton atop the charts here in Hot Laps. What are some other names we should watch for tonight, Zach?
Definitely, I couldn't tell if you mentioned Brandon Templeton. He's always quick. Patrick Spangler, he'll probably find a way to rip around the outside. But, man, Blake Chapman right now, he's won the last 2 features on the card. He was your small block winner and big block winner. So maybe not his card, but anytime Blake Chapman's in the field, got to keep an eye out on that kid.
Well, very quickly, cars out on the track here for our qualifying session. Of course, this will set the field for our heat races, and then, of course, that 30-lap feature event to end our evening here on dirt. Make sure you stay with Zach and I after the Pro Late Models. We've got the Xfinity Series coming from Dover Motor Speedway tonight, so more exciting action here on Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder as cars are out on the track. Time's starting to come in. It's Brandon Templeton, who you mentioned, Zach, shooting to the top of the charts.
Yeah, Brandon Templeton's always quick, always a guy you got to watch out for. Anthony Morano just came in P2, but, man, 10th and a half behind Brandon Templeton right now. And look at Jeff Barker, P2.
Good lap for that 5:13 machine. Anthony Morano 5th fastest right now. Also out on the track is Blake Chapman in his 20, making his first timed lap.
Yeah, P5 on that first lap. He's going to look to try to pick up some time here.
Andy Piercefield shoots up to 7th fastest with his qualifying run. Good lap for him. As Braden Bennett also wrapping up his qualifying time. He's 14th fastest here, and it looks like Steven Stewart's going to be the last car out there to get a lap time in.
Yeah, and Andy Piercefield, one of the few drivers to improve time on that second lap, so he really found something on that second lap.
Steven Stewart will jump up to 5th fastest, so 16 cars here for the Pro Late Models. A good field here for Thursday night with the Pro Late Models, Zach, as it's going to be Brandon Templeton, our quick time. And with that, we'll go to that starting lineup for our Flatline Racing Bodies Heat Race number 1.
Yeah, starting on the pole, we have the 32 of Anthony Morano. It is outside the 29 of Steven Stewart. The inside of row number 3, we have the 513, or row number 2, we have the 513 of Jeffrey Barker. It is outside Brandon Templeton in the 31. Inside of row number 3, the 56 of Randy Shreves. It is outside the 118 of Logan Wentz. And rounding out the field tonight in row number 4, we have the 07 of Preston Cramner. And to his outside, the 06 of Braden Bennett.
So lined up here behind that Stephen King Foundation pace car. 8 cars in that heat race. I did go to public school, Zach, so that would mean 2 heat races with our 16 cars, if I'm correct.
Yeah, you are correct. I went to public school also, so I had to cheat and pull up the iRacing screen to verify, but yes, we are correct.
No backup then tonight. We'll have to go to Google if it gets too complicated for us here tonight.
Yeah, I'll ask Siri if it gets too bad.
So Anthony Morano going to start on the pole here. That inversion not going the field's way so far here, putting Anthony there on that pole position as that pace car will dive on in. We'll have our Lucy Olson green flag. Anthony Morano, Stewart taking us off into turn number 1.
Yeah, good jump for him, but tightened up a little bit. But Steven Stewart looked like lifted, gave him room to gather it up, and that really helped Anthony Morano, but hurt the rest of the high side.
Barker thought about jumping to the inside of Stewart, thought better of it there in turn number 3. You know, I called a race from Kokomo last night, a little bull ring, Zach, but when you come to Volusia with that wall on the inside and the outside, it always just feels so narrow here, especially down the long front and backstretch.
Yeah, and Brandon Templeton got sent in the hole there in 3 and 4 as he's off. It looked like him and Logan Wentz made a little bit of contact, but yeah, it just, you were talking about it with the walls. Everybody wants that same area fighting off the corner. It seems to all funnel together, and that's what we just saw there. Just guys fighting for the same real estate on corner exit.
So Anthony Morano still out front. Stewart settled into that second spot. Barker now alone in that third spot with the gap back to Wentz now as Templeton off the track after 1 lap. That leaves 7 cars out there as we come to 2 laps to go.
Yeah, that leaves Jeff Barker with a good comfort zone. He can experiment, try a different line to get around. He knows he's got a gap behind him. Doesn't have to worry about Logan Wentz throwing a big move on him.
White flag will wave as we get counting down here for our Flatline Racing Bodies heat race number 1.
Barker tried to throw the slider but had to lock it up, and when he locked it up, Logan Wentz got around him for P3.
And it's Morano with the heat race victory. Stewart second, Wentz third, Barker fourth, Shreves fifth. As Flatline Racing Bodies heat race number 1 comes to an end. That'll move us on to RSN Trackside heat race number 2.
Yeah, the starting grid's going to look like this. Andy Piercefield in the 175 is going to be on the pole. To his outside, we have the salesman in the number 20, Blake Chapman. And as I said, got to keep an eye on him. He's 2 for 2 tonight in the features, so he's got to be a guy to watch. But Patrick Spengler in the 39 is going to be roll off P3 to his outside. Kurt Schatzer in the 218. 19 of Talon Ulibarri is going to roll off P5 to his outside. The 75 of Stephen Bixler. And rounding out the field tonight, we have Tyler Flynn in the 831 and Bob DeGood in the 7.
So we saw it there with Barker a couple times throughout that heat race number 1, Zach. How important is keeping your momentum wound up here at Volusia?
I mean, that's everything. That's why those guys are fighting for the same real estate coming off the corner. If you're on the bottom, you got to float up if you want to be any match for the guy on the outside of you. You can't let him pinch you down and control the racing room, or it's going to be real hard to make a pass done. You got to get those elbows out and try to float up a little bit.
So green flag will wave our Lucy Olson restart here. Back to racing action. As Chapman able to break away up front. He has Schatzer now in there. Piercefield will settle into third as Bixler all over his tail for that third position. 5 laps to go.
Yeah, Kurt Schatzer, though, he knows now's go time. He was thinking about throwing the slider, not going to be able to get it done. Andy tries to go around the outside, collects the wall, and Andy Piercefield around. That moves Stephen Bixler up to P3.
Yeah, Schatzer lost momentum there coming out of turn number 2, and as Andy went to go around the outside of him, just clipped that wall there at the exit of turn number 2. And that separates the front 2 from the rest of the field. You've got a gap back to Bixler. Bixler in the clear back to Bob DeGood, who's under attack by Tyler Flynn.
Yeah, and you know, that's got to worry you if you're Blake Chapman in that 20. Kurt Schatzer's really good in these things, and man, he's got a second gap to P3. He can throw the kitchen sink at you here, Travis.
Well, coming to 2 to go, so time is running out for Schatzer. Schatzer all over the back of that 20 machine out front. Chapman looking to hold on for the heat victory. This will set the lineup for that outside row in our feature event tonight. One more lap to go. Chapman holding on, and Schatzer's going to have one more corner to make a move, Zach.
Yeah, I think Schatzer almost settled for second there. He's going to look to the inside, but if he really wanted to make a move, he had to stay on the high side in 3 and 4 last time. He's not going to be able to get it done. Blake Chapman for the win.
So Chapman, Schatzer, Bixler, Flynn, Bob DeGood, your top 5. And that will set us up for our Oswego Speedway intermission here. With that, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineup for the feature event for tonight's Pro Late Model Division.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now from coast to coast. It's one of the best tracks in the Coast to Coast Racing League, and it's showtime in Volusia.
Back at Volusia Speedway Park here. Warm-up session going on now. Zach, Templeton, Schatzer, Morano, Shreves, your top 4 fastest here. 30 laps. What's the game strategy to come away with the victory here tonight in this feature event?
I pretty much called the big block race. Randy Shreves was really quick in the beginning, but guys who love to run that high side early, man, it is so hard to make that tire last, Travis. You've got to be willing to be patient and stick to the bottom for a little bit. Maybe let 2, even 3 guys by you, before you say enough's enough. And try to save that right rear tire for these last 10 or 15 laps, because as the track slicks off, man, you're going to need it.
And you see Templeton out there. He's had a fast car here tonight. Chapman, of course, picked up the victory as well. 13 cars have made their way out there on the track. That leaves 3 not out there for this warm-up session, with 3 more minutes left in this intermission. So you see Bixler having some troubles getting into the infield there. Stewart's a guy that ran well in his heat race as well, as he moves on the track with Anthony Morano. What's the preferred line gonna be, Zach? If you can get it, that's where you're gonna want to hang out all night here at Volusia.
Well, you're gonna want to get to that high side eventually, I think. But like I said, you're gonna need to save some right rear to do it. So if you're the guy out front trying to set the pace, I think you want to run that middle bottom, but you don't want to be too aggressive. That's for sure.
Well, that will lead us to our RSN trackside starting lineup for tonight's Pro Late Models.
Yeah, rolling off on the pole, we have the 32 of Anthony Morano to his outside, the salesman of Blake Chapman. Inside of row number 2, the 29 of Steven Stewart to his outside, the 218 of Kurt Schatzer. Sorry, my stuff moved. Give me 1 second. Rolling out P5, we have the 118 of Logan Wenson to his outside, Steven Bixler in the 75. Jeffrey Barker's going to roll off 7th in the 513 to his outside, Tyler Flynn. Randy Shreves is going to roll off P9 in the 56 to his outside, Bob DeGood in the 7. Rolling off P11 is going to be Braden Bennett in the 06 to his outside, Talon Ulibarri in the 19. Preston Cramner is rolling off P9 in the 07 to his outside, Andy Piercefield in the green 175. And rounding out the field tonight, man, we've got 2 names who you wouldn't think would ever be back there. Brandon Templeton and Patrick Spengler.
Patrick Spengler yet to get out on the track, so we'll see if he makes it out here, as we have 1 more lap before that Lucy Olson green flag waves on this 30-lap feature event here at Volusia.
You're right, actually. Looking at the thing, he actually disconnected, so we're not going to have any Patrick Spengler tonight.
So 15 cars set to do battle here.
Anthony Morano here. This turn 1's going to be so critical. I've seen guys, before the car's up to speed, really enter in too early when they've started on the bottom. He's got to take the preferred line away from Blake, get the elbows out.
Well, elbows out, green flag waves. Back to racing action here on Thursday Night Thunder, presented by Gambler Motorsports. Morano to the inside, Chapman to the outside. Schatzer pushing that 20 ahead down the backstretch as we're half a lap in of racing here at Volusia.
Yeah, we saw the 32 of Morano have to counter steer in the middle of 1 and 2. He did almost exactly as I said. Entered in a little too early, had to re-straighten it up, but it wasn't enough to lose momentum. He's going to throw the slider here on Blake.
Slides it up about halfway. That leaves open that outside line for the 20 machine. Schatzer's still out there. Stewart in the 4th position, running in the middle there as they go through 3 and 4. Front 5 broken away here early on lap number 3.
Yeah, seems like the preferred line is going to be the high side in 1 and 2, maybe the bottom in 3 and 4, possibly a slider line if somebody figures this out. But, man, we're going to see the track really expand here in the next 30 laps.
It settles down up front. You go back in the pack, side-by-side racing. You see Barker, Templeton. Templeton very quickly up 7 spots from 15th up to 8th here early in this one. He's got Steven Bixler and Randy Shreves behind him.
Yeah, and he's having to go all over the track to do that. He can't run his preferred line, so... Oh, I was just going to say, these guys better hope he doesn't get a caution and tighten up towards the front.
And a caution does come out. It looked like Jeff Barker involved in that one. As you see, he's crab walking a little bit there with that 513.
Yeah, and he actually got some help from Brandon Templeton in the middle of 1 and 2. Maybe floated up a little bit, but man, Brandon was hammered down, and then it looked like possibly Andy Piercefield got into the back of him when he was sitting still. Not really anywhere Andy could go.
You see the 513 and that 75 machine of Andy Piercefield, both with heavy damage. Got 5 laps into this one for the Pro Late models. You'll see Barker and Piercefield both pull into the pits, but up front it's Anthony Morano and Blake Chapman who have been doing battle up there. Schatzer will now line up in that inside row number 2. That'll give Stewart that outside line here on this next restart.
Yeah, and, you know, Kurt Schatzer, there's sometimes where he struggles on his restarts, so you got to keep an eye on that guy in P3. If he can get a good restart and fire right when that 32 does, and, man, he could be all over the backup Blake Chapman. And we saw him running real close to him in P3 earlier, but they're both running up high in that preferred line. So if Kurt can go in here and make Blake uncomfortable, we could have a new guy in P2.
The lights go off. The Stephen King Foundation pace car. That means our Lucy Olson green flag about to come out. Both Barker and Piercefield rejoin the field at the tail end. So all 15 drivers still in this one that started.
And, you know, you never want to have to use a quick repair, Travis, but if you do, you want to use it this early. You at least have a bunch of time to make up spots. So better now than later.
Well, and we've seen that. Templeton still up 8 spots after starting 15th, so you can move up through the field here tonight. As that Stephen King Foundation pace car pulls on off. Green flag waves. Anthony Morano, Blake Chapman take us back to racing action.
Yeah, you saw Kurt just struggle a little bit on that restart, really let Anthony gap him, and he's not going to be able to do anything with Blake, but able to slot back up in line there, P3.
All of a sudden now Wentz and the 31 of Templeton up there in that front battle.
Wentz for P4.
Wentz makes contact there for a moment. They'll keep it clean. He slid up into that 29 of Stewart. Now he's got Templeton to his inside.
Yeah, and you know, when you have that car on your inside, it puts you in a tough spot if you're Logan Wentz, because that 29, Steven Stewart's kind of fighting for that middle ground, so you had nowhere to go. But you see the big beneficiary there, Brandon Templeton, making the bottom work almost up to P4.
Well, Chapman was able to pull up alongside Morano. He's still there too as he's trying to make that inside line work. It looks like that line's coming in now here with 22 laps to go. It at least lets you pull up and possibly pull a slide job. Chapman to the inside of 31, and now Schatzer will enter the picture for the battle for the lead.
Yeah, it's you know, Anthony Morano, he knows how to run the bottom like the best of them, but I'll tell you what, so does that 20 car, and he opened the door, and that's how Blake's won both of these events so far tonight, feeding on that bottom, and, you know, we might have to start calling him the catfish.
Well, they're 3 wide up front, Templeton behind them along with Stewart looking for a lane. There isn't one, so they'll fall in line as Schatzer still there in the middle of Morano and Chapman. Caution comes out, it looks like it's Bennett here with 20 laps to go.
Yeah, and the story is there, Blake Chapman, able to beat him to the line, Travis, by 5 thousandths of a second. So we got a new guy out front setting the pace.
So he was making that inside line work, able to get alongside of him. By the time they normally got to the end of the straightaway, he'd give that spot back up. But just enough here. So, Zach, if you're forced down there to the inside and have to go down there because of where you're lined up, now Chapman has the lead car and the control car here. Do you stay down there or do you go back up top where it's the preferred line overall?
Yeah, that's a great question, Travis. And you or I think that's probably an easy answer. I think we're going to the top, no problem. But that kid in the 20 car, he's just on a different level than everyone else is. He loves the bottom. He's comfortable down there. And, you're going to almost have to stick a gun to that kid's head to get him to come off the bottom tonight. He's not going to give it up.
Well, he has Schatzer behind him. We've seen Schatzer try to jump to that middle line. That's where he's been running here as they were 3 wide for the lead. Templeton now lining up 4th, up 11 spots. So in line for the Hard Charger Award. And Steven Stewart still holding in that 5th spot.
And Blake did tell us in his interviews that the middle line where you said Schatzer's fast right now, that definitely was his preferred line in the big block. And, they're going to handle different, but similar track state. So I'd imagine, similar preferred line. I think Kurt is definitely quick right now, but the big story is he's going to be beating up that right rear much more than Blake is on the bottom. And as this race progresses, we're going to start to see Blake really let that thing eat on the bottom of 2 on exit. That's where we're going to see the low line really excel.
Well, lined up 2 by 2 they are, as it'll be Chapman Morano. Great battle up front will continue here on this restart. It'll be interesting to see what Schatzer's able to do, Zach. He kind of gave up on that last restart to be able to jump up in line and get to that outside line. We'll see what he does here on this one as the green flag waves.
Tell you what, he ain't going to be able to do it now because that 31's right there, Travis. He's come up 11 spots, man, up to P4, and now he's looking for P3.
Outside of Schatzer for that 31, Logan Wentz and Stewart behind them side by side as Chapman's able to take over the lead, slide up in front of Morano for the first time here tonight. And now Schatzer's there trying to move on Morano, but he's under attack by Wentz and Templeton.
Yeah, and Schatzer and Templeton, they're good buddies, man. I think they're teammates. They both have dirt track bank on the side of that car, but you see, when you're running for the final spot of that podium, man, you ain't really worried about who's in that team chat with you.
Wentz all over the back of that Schatzer machine. Now he'll look to the middle. That allows Tim Flynn in that 83 machine. He's entered the picture now as he's to the outside of Stewart. They make contact down the front stretch. Keep it going straight as Schatzer holds on to P3.
Yeah, and more contact behind him between Logan Wentz, and we're got a big one on the backstretch. We got a car over Jeffrey Barker. He might have flipped it out of the park.
Logan Wentz, Jeff Barker, Bob DeGood, and Andy Piercefield all involved in that one. Right there at that opening of the backstretch.
I'm looking at Jeffrey Barker in the pits, and his spoiler's spinning around like a top.
He was up in the air, and he was end over end. It was not a barrel roll. It was an end over end flip he had going. So we'll line them back up behind the Stephen King Foundation pace car. We're halfway. We're to lap number 15 here now. It's Chapman, Morano, Schatzer, Templeton, your top 4. With Wentz involved in that one, Flynn will move up into P5 now.
And right before that caution came out, I had just clicked up to the leaders, and Anthony Morano was running that bottom right behind Blake Chapman, and man, he had him hooked in with the fishing rod, Travis. He was reeling him in. Another lap or two, he would have been on that bumper trying to make Blake uncomfortable. So he does not want this caution. He wants to get right back down to the bottom, follow Blake around, and like I say, he's going to need to move Blake out of that way, or out of that line, because Blake is not going to get off that bottom.
As the lights are turned off, that means we'll have that Lucy Olsen green flag the next time by. Chapman to the inside, Morano to his outside still. I'm sorry, single file here. Morano looking to his outside here under caution.
I love to envision myself at the front when you talk about Chapman being at the front. Then I have to wake up to realize it's Blake every time.
Bring back memories. Green flag waves for Blake Chapman. 15 laps to go here at Volusia. Single file will stretch them out here as Schatzer quickly looking to the outside of Morano, but now he's got Templeton to his inside for third.
Yeah, he maybe got too aggressive there in 1 and 2. Thought he had a little bit more of a run than he did, and he opened the door for Brandon, and he's not going to look back. P3 at the line. We'll have to see if he can go to work on that 32. Blake Chapman's really hoping they duke it out for P2.
Well, Templeton now looking to the inside of Morano. Wasn't much room there as the caution flag will wave. Looks like Jeff Barker, Bob DeGood involved. Both of them quickly into the work area. As that last lap we had Morano down to the inside. Wasn't much room there, but Templeton tried to move to his inside through 3 and 4.
And, you know, God gave these cars fenders for a reason, Travis. You got to use them.
Especially now that we're down to 14 laps to go.
Yeah, and you're seeing now cautions breed caution. So if you're right on a guy, you really got to move him out of the way and go get it, because you don't know if we're going to run the rest of the thing green flag or if you got to beat that guy to the line who you're trying to pass to solidify that spot. So every lap from here is a qualifying lap.
So lights are still on. We'll do at least one more lap around here. What's it going to take for Templeton or Morano to have a chance to steal this one from Chapman?
Oh, man. You know, I hate to sound like a broken record, but like I say, they're going to have to move that kid. And it looks like Brandon Templeton was thinking about moving that 32 in front of him. He knows what it's going to take, and Brandon's quick. I'm rooting for Anthony for sure, but I think you got to keep an eye out on that 31.
Green flag will wave. A good start for Blake Chapman up front. 13 laps to go. Morano able to move as well. Templeton, you got to go back to Schatzer there in the fourth. He's got Tim Flynn, Stewart, and others trying to pounce on him.
Yeah, and if you're Blake, you get a great start, but that's not the start you want Anthony to get. You want him to be a little slower than that. You want him in the 31 to be side by side, because that 32 is coming with a full head of steam.
Oh, a caution over there in turn number 2. Stewart goes around. Bixler involved. No caution yet. Will stay green. 11 laps to go.
Brandon Templeton looking for second here. Is he going to think about throwing the slider here? No, he's going to keep it low. Going to try to get a good run. He's going to beat him to the line, Travis. New P2.
So Templeton, Bixler into the wall up in front of the leaders in 1 and 2. Will stay green. 10 laps to go. Chapman with a good size lead, about 0.6 of a second now. He's got Templeton trying to chase him down. Schatzer's now settled into that 4th position.
Yeah, Templeton's trying to be a magician out here, going to try to make that lead disappear, but I don't know, that 32, he doesn't want to give up second yet. He's trying to look to the outside of that 31.
Bob DeGood to the outside there, the front 4 clear. Morano all over the back of the 31 of Templeton, trying to get that P2 spot back. As they have closed that gap on Chapman through 1 and 2, he's able to extend down the backstretch. Templeton sets his sights back on that leader.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier, Travis. That's where he excels. It seems like he's real slow in entry, but that run he gets on the bottom out of 2 is phenomenal compared to the rest of the cars. And you see Templeton running a real similar line, but he floats up a little bit too high in the middle, just doesn't get that run off that Blake gets.
Lead is still under half of a second as they come 6 laps to go. The front 3 nose to tail, and that's allowed Schatzer to close that gap as well. We could have a 4-car battle here before this one's over.
No, yeah, all it'll take is a little tap from that 31 to get the 20 a little squirrely, and we got 4 guys who can win this thing here. We're coming 5 to go.
There's Templeton. He jumps to the outside. He's going to have momentum coming off of 2 as he closes in on that bumper of the 20 up ahead. 5 to go, going to be 4 to go this time by.
Yeah, it just seems the way the track wears, you don't get that great run out of 2 like you get out of 4, and we see that's where he really made up a lot of time. He's going to swing it in there and drive it hard in the middle of the corner, but Blake is just getting a good run on exit here. But, man, a couple more laps of this, Brandon might be able to pull it off on the high side.
3 is what we have. He's up along his right rear corner panel as they come across the line. The 31 now has the momentum out of turn number 2. They're side by side down the backstretch.
Yeah, Blake, I know he doesn't want to do it, but if you're listening, kid, you got to park it on that 31. Take the high side away because he is coming.
And with 2 laps to go, Templeton was the leader at the line. Chapman's able to get it back here, but down the backstretch, it's going to be that 31 out front coming to the white flag.
Up 14 spots, 15th to 1st here as we're getting the white flag. It's Brandon Templeton at the line, 1 to go.
Through 1 and 2 for the final time. Morano now closes up, but he is in 3rd as they're side by side ahead of him. Templeton with the nose going off into turn number 3. Out of turn number 4, it's going to be Templeton at the line for the win.
What a race. Blake trying to go for the 3P just shows how much that kids learned and developed over the years, kept it clean and not able to get it done, but heck of a finish here, Travis.
Fireworks on the track, fireworks now off the track as Templeton able to run down Chapman. Those final 10 laps comes away with the Pro Late Model Division victory. And as you mentioned, he is our hard charger of the night, up 14 spots. Good run for Talon Ulibarri as well, up 7, finishes with a top 5.
Yeah, you know, you look at the standings, Travis, and you go, man, I gained 7 spots. I'm hard charger, right? And then you just look up and you see Brandon Templeton worst to first tonight. What a drive.
Well, Talon passed half the field, so you would think that that would be enough, but not here tonight with Brandon's run. And we'll throw it down to you, Zach. You've got our 3rd place finisher, Anthony Morano.
Hey, Anthony, Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Well, able to get on the podium again tonight, and looked like you were reeling those guys in towards the end, but just ran out of time. Talk to us a little bit about the race.
Yeah, I tried going where Brandon went up there and he got around Blake there a few times, and I felt like I was struggling, especially in 3 and 4, so I made sure to get back down and at least get to the bottom where I was comfortable. Then I saw him get up there and go around, and I was like, man, that would have just worked when I tried. It would have been great, but I guess not. That was a lot of fun. It was a good race to watch there for the win.
Yeah, you know, in a way, Brandon kind of got you to thank for that because I just don't know if it was there yet when you tried it, but, man, you sure helped that line develop, and he couldn't have done that without you. But, man, back-to-back podiums, good job tonight. Can't complain. Let us know who you want to thank.
Yeah, definitely take a podium here tonight for sure. I thank my wife Sherry, my teammates at FTM, Dean at Super Dirt Car, Logan at High Mom Lens, Gunner at Swan Speed Shop, Expert Installation, DJ Sim, MDI TV, Zach, you and Travis for coming out here and doing the broadcast for us with the Pro Late models and everyone at Coast to Coast.
Well, congratulations, Anthony. You're becoming quite the familiar face up here in the broadcast booth, man, and we sure love having you here, Coast to Coast.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yep, that's Anthony Morano, your 3rd place finisher. And Travis, you want to get a word with the salesman here?
Blake, you come away with a 2nd place finish right where you started tonight. Talk about that run Brandon had there at the end and that battle to the finish.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely earned the win tonight. Kudos to Brandon. But, yeah, I didn't think he was going to be able to find anything other than that bottom line. I thought that was definitely the dominant line tonight. But when he got to 2nd and he started throwing it upstairs and gaining on me, I figured I was in trouble. And I was thinking about throwing it in and throwing a slider, but I was just so comfortable on the bottom. I figured I was going to roll with it, and ended up being a good race. And congrats to Brandon. He definitely earned this one tonight.
We talked about how you like that inside line, and you had plenty of chances to move up the track, but decided to just stay down there. Any thoughts of trying to move around to try to slow down that momentum of that 31?
No, I didn't really feel that bad on the bottom. I didn't feel like it was going away much. I felt like the exits on 2 and 4 were still really, really good. They still had a lot of grip, so I was content staying down there. He just found something that was just a little bit quicker.
Well, great run. It was definitely fun to watch you two battle there at the end. Who are those people and those sponsors you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, I got to thank Mom and Dad for watching. Got to thank all the guys at the Cried Sim Racing team and the Can-Am Racing team. Got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps, Andy at AJ Custom Creations. I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They got some of the best stuff out there, and you can head over to their website. And don't forget to use code CART, that's C-A-R-T, at checkout for 15% off of your purchase. And I got to thank you for putting this broadcast on.
Well, great run, Blake. We look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you.
Now we'll throw it over to Zach, who's in victory lane with our winner, Brandon Templeton.
Well, Brandon, man, so many things to say. I don't know if you got a chance to go back and look at Monday night's broadcast, but I didn't get a chance to interview you, so I did your interview for you. It was a great moment for me. I thank Dirt Track Bank and Got Your Six Racing Network. I'm sure I forgot other ones, but it was such a fun moment for me. But man, dude, worst to first tonight, Brandon. My God, dude, how'd you do it? This was a fast field tonight.
Yeah, for the most part, it's just hugging that bottom, and then, late at the end, Blake was not going to mess up too bad down there, and he was definitely going to hold that line, so I just kind of went to that middle line where the traction was above the slick and kind of expecting to fall back a car length or two, and it stayed about even or gained a tiny bit, so I just stayed with it, and crept forward inch by inch, it seemed like, but it was just enough, so hats off to Blake. That was a heck of a race, and yeah, that's a good deal. You did my interview. I think I had connection problems that issue that night. Kind of hit me in the next race too. So hopefully that's not a recurring trend.
Yeah, no, we definitely don't want that for you. You're a guy who's familiar to the front, man, and you do it clean. Little mishaps here and there, but you're able to get it around the high side tonight on Blake. Were you worried about him throwing a slider there in 3 and 4 on the last lap?
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if he was going to, I thought the bottom was probably getting a little bit thinner and more treacherous, and I saw him kind of just about rubbing the inside wall, so I knew that, where I was at, it was probably a little bit easier to stay consistent, so just kind of waiting it out and keeping it smooth, but yeah, I kind of thought he was going to slide up, and I was ready to cross him over, but never saw him out of the corner of my eye coming up, so good race.
Well, man, good job tonight, and you're a little better at being Brandon Templeton than I am, so I'm going to let you do your thank yous tonight.
Yeah, we got to thank Jay with the Dirt Track Bank in Malvern, Iowa. Malvern Bank is awesome for dirt track racing. If you haven't checked it out, go to dirttrackbank.com. They support real racing through hauler loans, every tool loans. If you need something for racing, they're the people to check it out. They kind of know what's up, and they know the value of, a 1999, Freightliner that's been converted into a sweet hauler. They're not going to look at it and know that it's a piece of junk. They know that there's value in resale in that, and it keeps its value. So check out Jay. They do a lot of loans for that racing stuff, and it really supports the racing community. He gives back with a lot of sponsorship, including us. So thanks to him. Got Your Six Racing Network, Extreme Images, Maley's Makery, Big C's Lawn Care, Hammer Down Racing Team, Joe Kurt, Brian, Brandon. Gonna have to check out, Joe Halter's getting into his dwarf season, so we're gonna have to start checking that out and following him on his podcast and on his YouTube channel. But thanks to you guys for doing the stream. Thanks to everybody at Coast to Coast for doing the league. Everybody doing the behind the scenes reviews and stuff like that. And everyone who watches, thanks.
Well, hey, Brandon, man, we're lucky to have you here at Coast to Coast. Congratulations on another win, and hopefully I get to talk to you next Thursday, man.
Thank you.
Well, that's Brandon Templeton, our winner here in the Pro Late Models. A great race to finish up the dirt portion there, Zach. Now we're going to head to Dover. What should we expect from the NASCAR Xfinity Series at that high bank, high speed track?
Well, hopefully everybody behaves and takes it easy on cold tires because, man, turn 2 on lap 1 could be a disaster. We talked a little bit about here at Volusia how it funnels coming out of the corner. Well, man, Dover's going to do the same thing, and there's a lot less room at Dover than there is at Volusia, believe it or not. So these guys got to behave and play nice tonight.
Well, Well, we are going to take a quick commercial break here as our Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder will march on. After our break, we'll come back with our concrete portion of the night tonight from Dover Motor Speedway. You're watching Thursday Night Thunder here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
Tonight we'll be talking about it.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
Welcome back to the Coast to Coast Racing League Network as we are back for Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder as we come to a close here with the NASCAR Xfinity Division as we come from Dover Motor Speedway. And we were talking earlier, Zach, this is one of your favorite tracks here. What should we expect here tonight?
I mean, we're going to see guys, you know, a lot of people talk about the Darlington Stripe, right? I almost think that Dover should have something similar, some similar title. That the Monster Mile, man, it'll just reach out and grab you coming off the corners. We're going to see guys, if we get in the long green flag runs, if you are not nice to that right front tire, we're going to see guys beat the heck out of that car coming out of turns 4 and turn 2. They got to be slow in and fast out. If you overdrive that corner, you'll be fast for about 10 or 12 laps, but man, you're going to pay for it halfway through the run.
We'll take a look at those Sim Racer Hub standings. Colin Johnston is your points leader here for this spring season. Jeffrey Kemper, Mark Gilbert third, Jack Clevenger fourth, Gordon Spain in the 5th position. Zachary Chapman still in the top 10, currently in 9th, Zach, so something to be proud of there.
Hey man, you never know. Maybe I play my cards right if I ever race again. I do have a win or two already, so I would be chase eligible, but we'll have to see how that goes.
You, of course, would need that exemption, as always. But happy to have you up here in the booth. And just like that, we're going to go on to our qualifying session here. As cars are about to get on the track, we'll put those times over on the left as they come in for you. As Bixler, Butcher, and Moonen, some of the cars here on the track here early in this session.
Yeah, Moonen's a guy, he's almost always fast everywhere he goes. Didn't really pay attention to his practice time, but I imagine out here in qualifying, we should see that 24 somewhere in the top 5.
We were talking about the banking this Dover Motor Speedway has, especially on, I think where it's underrated is the front stretch. A lot of banking. What's it like when you're in the car going around this Dover track?
It kind of messes with your visuals a little bit, especially entering in and just banking so hard. You got to make sure you've got a point that you're aiming at, or if you drive in too hard, you know, you can. That's where the corner exit will get you. You float up too much. You got to make sure you're really got your eyes painted on a target and you know where you're going to lift so you don't miss your marks.
Well, you talked about him. Moonen's going to shoot to the top of the charts with the first time coming in. Butcher there as well, Johnston, Kramer off it. So now with a half a dozen times in, Moonen fastest out there on the track. Gordon Spain in that 38. He's been fast the last couple of these asphalt races, asphalt or concrete races we've done here with the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, and Gordon Spain, he's not a one-lap wonder. You know, he's willing to sacrifice one-lap speed for a long car run, and that's why we'll see Gordon in the top 3, I'd imagine, at the end of this race.
Well, like we always see here, Zach, this NASCAR Xfinity Series can have some runs, can have some strategy come into play. 100 laps here tonight at Dover. I'm expecting both strategy and some long green flag runs to happen here for us.
Yeah, you know, I think we will get a little bit of both. That's why I think you've got to keep an ace in your pocket. You've got to keep a set of tires for under 20 laps to go. You know, they limit the tires for these guys, and yeah, you know, I'd be shocked if we didn't get a caution within 20 to go, guys going real hard, and you've got to make sure you got some fresh sneakers for that final run.
So 11 cars have turned laps. Looks like Kemper is out there on the track, and Gilbert turned laps, but they didn't count there. So that leaves Keith Jackson, Jeremy Tate, Isaac Salas as cars that have not been out there yet.
Oh, Kemper getting loose.
See him cross the line there. Finally gets a time, or he was coming to the green flag, so won't get a time in there.
No, but now see, the benefit to that is now one of his laps are going to be wasted because he's already on lap 1. He's slid across the start-finish line, but he'll be able to reset the car here, brand new set of tires, and no, he's got 1 lap to get it done here. So it's do or die time now for that 181.
Keith Jackson out there on the track as well as he comes to complete lap number 1. He will, oh, he beats Moon and he'll shoot to the top of the charts. As he will get another time in. Kemper looking to get a time in. As he'll move up to 11th fastest. 50 seconds left, so these two should be the final 2 drivers to get times in here for us tonight. As Jackson will just edge out Kyle Moonen by 2/100ths of a second. As he will be our quick time here for the NASCAR Xfinity. And you can see there as Kemper enters the pits, it looks like that entrance to the pits, Zach, can get very narrow very quickly.
Huh. Yeah, it can. You know, I dipped out on you real quick. I don't know if you noticed in between while you were loading up videos, but I was talking to Jeff Kemper, not to throw him under the bus, but boy, I saw him try to make a pit stop, and it's a good thing he practiced because he nailed those water safer, you know, the big yellow tubs of water, and man, they do a lot more damage to the car than you'd think, Travis. So you got to settle the car down.
Well, we're about to see it happen here as they're about to line up. That'll take us to our RSN trackside starting lineup here for this NASCAR Xfinity from Dover.
Yeah, starting on the pole is going to be the 113 of Keith Jackson. It is outside the 24 of Kyle Moonen. Starting on the inside of row number 2, the 85 of Jacob Butcher. It is outside the 38 of Gordon Spain. Definitely got to keep your eye on tonight. Cullen Johnson's going to roll off P5. It is outside in the 4 is going to be Greg Parmalee. Rolling off P number 7 is going to be Kyle Fahey. In the 16, and it is outside. Rolling off P8 is going to be Gary Offit. Devo Donovan Ross is going to roll off P9 to his outside. The Aylett Outlaw, Preston Cramner, rolling off P11 in the 181 is going to be Jeffrey Kemper. And his outside got Old Smoky, Terry Landis. Stephen Bixler in the 75 is going to roll off P13. And to his outside is going to be Mark Gilbert in the 017. And I do believe, Isaac Salas, he's disconnected. He's not going to be racing with us tonight. But rolling off in the final starting spot is going to be Jeremy Tate in P15.
They are lined up here on the front stretch there on pit road as we get ready to go for racing action here from Dover. 100 laps around this concrete track. Should be an exciting night, and as always, an exciting finish to our Thursday Night Thunder here, presented by Gambler Motorsports.
You know, this is one of those interesting tracks, Travis, where starting on the pole for the green flag when we go on the actual green may not be a huge benefit. Kyle Moonen, he kind of controls Keith Jackson's fate. If he gets a good start and pinches him down in there and holds him on the bottom, not much Keith can do unless he's willing to float up and get into the 24. But if he does that on cold tires, good chance of him spinning. So 24 car, even though he's in P2 here, he really dictates what kind of happens here on these first couple laps.
Well, the lights are off that Stephen King Foundation pace car. They'll dive on in. We're about to go green here. It's Jackson Moonen for our NASCAR Xfinity Series here from Dover. Final event here of Thursday Night Thunder. Green flag waves and we're off to racing action. Good jump by the Jackson machine. He's able to nose ahead of the 24 of Moonen as they head off into turn number 1.
Yeah, that was important for him. But now you see Moonen, he's going to fight back on the high side, going to go hard early. Now this is where if he goes too hard, tires might pay for it. You don't want to be real aggressive when they're cold. You can really burn the life off of them.
So they're side by side through 3 and 4 here as we complete lap number 1. Moonen's going to have the advantage. He will lead lap number 1. And here at Dover, Zach, when you have that side-by-side action through the corners, how important is that give and take throughout the night?
It's very important. You're going to want to see guys save tires, but we got a caution. It looks like Preston Cranmer.
Preston down there at the entrance of turn number 1, down on the inside. You can see some pieces of his car there at the exit of pit road. Is here on lap number 2. The caution flag will wave for the first time.
Yep. Kind of surprised to see it this early, but the outside wall, like I said, they call this place the Monster Mile. You know, the wall really comes out at you. It sneaks out on you, and the wall got Gary Offit. He ate the wall with the right front coming out of 4, and he just bounced into Preston Cranmer. Nothing Preston could do. That's a tough break for Preston. The A-Lit Outlaws got to use a quick repair this early.
So, of course, caution laps count here for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here on Thursday Night Thunders. We'll get them lined back up 2 by 2. You see Colin Johnston, our points leader, coming down pit road along with Gary Offit.
Yeah, that'll be a fuel stop. I used to do the same thing. Colin and I would always find ourselves in the back. If we're not running up towards the front, you might as well play the fuel game. Hope that, you know, caution goes long, or we get a real long green flag run with a green flag pit stop. And, you know, not putting anybody down, but sometimes coming out with cold tires after you run 30, 40, 50 laps, you know, car doesn't handle the same. And if you come out there, spin out right away, quick caution, and Cullen's still out there running, he's got the field a lap down, and he dictates the pace. So I like Cullen's strategy right now. If you're not going to be up front, you got to play the long game.
Well, that's that strategy we talk about here with the NASCAR Xfinity Series that comes into play often, especially when we have, you know, 15, 16 cars, less than 20 cars. Even late in a run or late in a race, coming down, getting some new shoes, refilling your gas tank, not having to pass 30 cars is a lot different here with this series when there's only 12 cars in front of you.
No, you're exactly right. And if you're Cullen, you know, you just saw 3 guys mess up their cars real bad. You know, they had to use quick repairs. So you assume that they're not going to be battling you too hard, that they're just going to be riding right now, trying to survive, make sure they have a car at the end. And, you know, that's a couple easy spots right there. So I really like where Cullen's at right now. Like I say, if you're not up front controlling the pace like this 24 car is, I think that's the right move.
So the lights are off. Our first caution of the night will go back to green, working lap number 6 here at Dover. I don't know why I got a Boston accent there all of a sudden, Zach.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us sometimes. But, man, I think if you're this 24 here, Travis, you really gotta be defensive. You can't let the 113 drive around you like you did to him. You got to go up there, park it on him. Take the line away. Make him eat his stuff up to get around you. Just take that clean air. And no, the car may not handle much, but Travis, you know as well as I do, when you're driving in that little air bubble, you know, imagine yourself going down the highway, you can feel the car handle different. And when you take that weight off the right front, it puts a lot more pressure. The weight off the front end, it puts a lot more pressure on the right front in the middle of the corner. So you do not want to be behind somebody and get in that dirty air.
Coming to that Lucy Olson green flag here on lap number 6. Green flag waves. Moonen able to jump up in front of Jackson. A great restart for him there, as now you've got Butcher to the inside of Spain going through 1.
Yeah, and, you know, Moonen, he was able to do exactly what I said. Go up there, take the line away, and now Keith, if he wants to go around him, he's going to have to go through him or run his tires off, and I wouldn't be surprised at either here.
So the front 2 able to break away. Butcher now into that 3rd spot. You can see Jackson running up middle of the line there through 1 and 2, moving down to the inside. As Jackson has a run here going into 3.
He's going to look to the bottom. You're going to eat up your tires a little bit more there. As you see, he almost floats up and gets into the 24. The 24, scared him a little bit. Looked like he jumped out of the throttle to give him a little more room, but no harm, no foul. They're going to keep on going.
Great racing with 3 cars behind him. That's Butcher, Spain, and Kemper there. That's a battle for third. Currently the tightest battle on the track here is Kemper to the outside of Spain for the 4th position.
Yeah, good to see Kemper up 6 spots already, up to P5. He had a tough qualifying effort, as we saw. Couldn't really figure it out there, but seems to be getting the hang of it here as we're rolling some green flag laps.
Up front, Jackson still all over the back of Moonen. Almost egging him on to make a mistake as he follows in his tire tracks here, completing lap number 9 on to lap number 10.
Yeah, you see there, though, the 113 with a light tap off the wall there on the front stretch, and that's just him carrying that little extra speed in the draft, and, you know, he's making that right front tire work real hard, but Kyle Moonen is doing exactly what he has to do right now, not giving him any room and really making him work for everything.
Jackson pulls to the inside of Moonen. They're side by side out of turn number 4. It's still Moonen at the line, but Jackson trying to take over that lead here through 1 and 2.
Yeah, and it looks like he almost had enough there, maybe thought about it, but Moonen stuck that left front fender right back there and said, nah, man, not today, I'm still here.
Out of turn number 4, Jackson will clear as Moonen will look to cross him over. At the line, it's still Moonen, your leader of all 11 laps here to start the day.
Yeah, and you know, these guys are going real hard on their tires right now, but if you're the 24 Kyle Moonen, I can't blame him. Keith Jackson, if we've let him get out front at all this year, it's been his race. So that's why I said it's very important for Moonen to try to set this pace, and that's what he's got to do.
He had to check up there at the exit of turn number 4, so that'll give Jackson the lead here on lap number 12. But Moonen back in it, trying to chase down that 13 up ahead.
Yeah, and you know, Moonen, if you were going to take the lead back, you had to do that bump right there. I think it's goodbye here, and it's going to be a tough task to run down that 113 the rest of the way.
Well, they battle for the lead up front. We'll go back in the pack. You got Greg Parmalee currently in the 7th spot. Landis all over the back of his car in that Yahoo machine. Landis up 4 spots. Right behind him, Mark Gilbert in that 17 machine up 5 spots from the start. Both of them have entered the top 10 now.
Yeah, always happy to see Terry up there climbing up. Him and I share a similar green botanical hobby. Some adults enjoy. So Terry's one of my favorite people in here, and I always love to see that Yoo-hoo machine climbing through the field.
Trying to chase down Greg Parmalee. Up front, and you called it, Zach. Jackson has checked out now. His lead almost 7/10 over Moonen. And then another 2.5 back to Jeffrey Kemper. Up 8 spots into the top 3, but he's got Gordon Spain all over his bumper at the line.
Yeah, I mean, this is something we've seen all season with Keith. If he gets out front, like I said, it's good night. If we don't get a caution here to make this thing interesting, Keith definitely he controls his own fate here.
If Spain's able to move into that 3rd spot, what are we looking for? Kemper into the wall there down the front stretch. What are we looking at for pit windows? Are you aware of that?
No, I didn't go out and test, but if my memory calls me, they can go, I believe, in a full tank, it's like 90 some laps. So they should have to 2-stop this. I would think the second one could be a quick fuel stop if they wanted to, but I would imagine with lap times, they'll probably just try to cut it and, you know, do around like 35 laps or so, make it 3 even stints so you're not losing as much time.
Best times were about 23.6. Last lap, the best time was a 24.3. So have had some drop off here. Just 19 laps in and some caution laps there included. So coming to 19 laps complete here, about 20% of the way. Plenty of strategy and racing action still set to come. And it's that point of the race, Zach, where cars start to get spread out. You have a couple pairs of guys that do battle every now and then, but really, this Butcher coming up to Kemper is the closest battle on the track right now.
No, yeah, we're definitely at that awkward stage where guys that have run too hard are going to start to slow down, and guys that have saved their stuff are going to catch up. So we'll get some battles here in the next 5 or 6 laps, I'd imagine, but they won't be much battles. It's going to be 2 different classes of drivers right now.
The other thing, it's not a lot of laps.
Big wreck on the front stretch. Big wreck. I happen to be out here testing the car, trying to get an accurate fuel mileage for us, and I drove right through it as a ghost. That was a heck of a wreck.
So Landis there, Jeremy Tate involved. You can see his rear clip gone. As a caution here on lap number 21, our second of the night.
And I was getting 52 laps about after I ran out there, so they could one-stop it if they really wanted to, but man, those tires are going to be screaming at the end.
Well, we're getting to the point if you pitted now, you could get another one there with about 30 laps to go, 25 laps to go, so possibly some strategy there. Terry Landis and Jeremy Tate, both in that accident, will pit here. So Kyle Moonen led the first 11 laps. Jackson took over on lap number 12 and has led since. It's Jackson, Moonen, Spain, your top 3. As we've got a handful of guys, they're back in the pack that are pitting here, Zach.
Yeah, and I'm anxious to look at guys, especially like Cullen Johnson. I think it's going to be a pretty quick pit time. I wouldn't think they'd be taking tires this early. I just, I don't know. I don't really see the benefit to it, especially when the guys out front didn't. But, I mean, I've been wrong plenty of times, Travis. Ask my wife. But no, yeah, 6.9 seconds there in the pits. That's a quick gas stop for Cullen Johnson. And now some of the other guys, like Preston Cramner and them, I believe Preston, he was involved a little bit in that first incident. So some of them, I bet you they're not getting tires. They're probably just sitting there trying to let iRacing repair as much damage as they can. They probably want to keep that quick repair for later.
Well, with this caution, it looks like our top 6 drivers are going to be the only guys that haven't made it down pit road at this point. So we'll see how that plays out. As you mentioned, they could go another 30 laps if they had to.
Yeah, you know, as much as I like Cullen and them stopping there, it's tough for me to see the point right now as they're 25 laps in. They get 2 more sets of tires, so I just don't really see the benefit of coming in there and, you know, just risking yourself to run longer on a green flag pit stop, because the other guys, you're still going to both change tires twice. I'd rather get them a little sooner, but we'll have to see if they can make it work out.
Working lap number 24 here, so not quite to that third of a way through if you're working backwards for those pit stops.
No, but figuring out they could go 52 laps, I think with all these cautions here, some of your guys up front, especially Keith Jackson, he's really good at saving tires. You know, he's almost dead set right now that this is a one-stop race, so it's tough to keep giving up track position.
Yeah, you got to think if a caution came out there with 40 laps into this, so another 15 laps, some interesting strategy would come into play. Or at least put pressure on your strategy to go the rest of the way.
Yeah, that could get really interesting here if in about, 15, 20 laps we got a caution, because that would put the guys right on the edge of thinking maybe they could make it or not.
So side by side they'll get lined up. It's going to be Jackson Moonen. Jackson going to be on that inside line. That last restart, Moonen was able to get a good start and jump out ahead. We'll see what Jackson's able to do as that control car here.
I just think Moonen probably beat up his tires a little bit too much. Saw him get in the wall a couple times too. Man, unless he gets the start of his life here and possibly jumps it a little bit, I just think Keith Jackson should be able to roll up in front of him, no problem here.
So 2x2, they'll go through 3 and 4. Jackson pushing Moonen up the track there through 3 and 4. Lucy Olsen green flag waves. A mission 22 restart. Good start for Jackson. He's going to be able to jump up in front of Moonen there. Spain will hold on to third as Kemper looks to his outside.
And, you know, now that the tires have cooled off and they're going to get hot again, we're really going to see here in the next 2 or 3 laps who hurt their tires too much. Everybody will feel like they're Superman right now, but man, in 2 laps, that's all going to change for some people. As Kyle Moonen's looking for the lead here, Travis. Caution's out.
Caution's out, and I don't know if he meant to or not, but he almost diamond 3 and 4 that gave him a great run down that hill at the exit of turn number 4. It looked like he maybe got into 3 too hard there, and that's what made it happen. But he was going to have a good run there if that caution didn't come out.
Yeah, we definitely had a battle for the lead on our hands there. Just, you know, every single wreck today, Travis, has been the exact same thing. Kemper got in the wall a little bit off turn 4. It didn't really come down, but, man, Jacob Butcher was right on that left rear quarter panel, and there's nowhere for him to go after Jeff got in the wall, and another destroyed race car.
So we'll line them back up here, working lap number 28.
All right, now very interesting. Gordon Spain's going to pull in a pit here. Once again, don't really understand that, especially if you're taking tires, because, man, if this thing goes green, you've got... All right. No, I mean, like, all right, let's say it does go green, right? Some of these other guys, if they pit later, yeah, everybody will probably have to stop again after that stop. But they may not have to take tires. Gordon is going to have to take tires, especially if he takes tires now. Can't go in one set the rest of the way from here. But a quick pit stop doesn't look like he's getting tires.
It'll be interesting to see. How this plays out. I had a couple back-to-back cautions here. As always, a long green flag run here could shake things up as well.
Lights are still on, so not going green this time by yet. Must have a long commercial they want to get in.
Yeah, it's the radio coverage is holding them from going back to green.
Dang MRN.
Well, it's Dover, so this would be PRN.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just so used to it growing up as a kid. That's all I heard on Sundays when my dad would drive around in the car, pick me up from Sunday school.
Some Barney Hall on the call.
Oh yeah.
I still like listening to races on the radio.
Oh yeah, man. There is really something about just listening to it. I've also kind of gotten into listening to hockey games. That's kind of a weird thing to do, but it's I'm a Penguins fan, and switched to Hulu TV. Can't get Pittsburgh channels anymore in Gettysburg, so I'm resort to the radio now.
Nice. You know what I did? For hockey, I ended up getting the ESPN app. And if you pay for ESPN Plus, it has all the hockey games on it.
Not for me, because
Oh,
it
really?
thinks that Pittsburgh
thinks
should
you're
be my little
there.
channel. Yep, it thinks.
Gotcha.
Even though I'm 2.5, I'm actually like 3.5 hours away from Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, almost right in the center. Like
That's a
I'm closer to
horrible
Baltimore
blackout.
and Washington. I know.
Well, no blackouts here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. As we're about to go back to green, lights are off that Stephen King Foundation pace car. Jackson and Moonen.
Yeah, and we saw Moonen. I was kind of saying that this race was over, but we saw Moonen run that line you were talking about, kind of diamond 3 and 4. Really interesting. Really interested to see if Keith Jackson saw that in the mirror and is going to take that away, or if he'll leave that line open for the 24.
So here we go, 2 by 2. Jackson had a good start that last one. We're going to go green here, working lap number 32 of 100. Green flag waves, back to racing action. Jackson has another good start. He's able to move in front of Moon and Kemper down to the inside as well as he pulls away from Parmalee.
You saw Moonen enter real high there. He's going to diamond off, looking to make a little bit of time. Looks interested to see what line he takes here into 3.
You can see Jackson's there, middle of the line. Moonen started high, he ends low. Really trying to diamond that 3 and 4 corner. Both of them are at that end of the track side.
Yeah, when you got that 113 in front of you, you got to try to do something to catch him. So Kyle, at this point, definitely not saving any right front tire. He's trying to go and strike while the iron's hot here, but he's only got a short amount of time. He's just gotten the wall. That's what I'm talking about. These cautions come out and they seal over the tires, get hot, cold, It really exacerbates the damage you've done. And it's showing how hard Kyle ran the first couple laps. You're seeing the guys in the wall behind. Jeff Kemper in 3rd just got in the wall. These guys, they're paying for what they did.
Parmalee is under attack there by Kyle Fahey there in that 20 machine. As Spain back up to 6th after pitting. Butcher behind him as well. Great racing here, middle of the pack.
Yeah, and Fahey looks like he's pretty quick right now, but there's nowhere for him to go. Man, 3 wide at Dover just isn't going to work.
He's to the inside of Kemper there off turn number 4. Oh, Spain. Oh, there's Butcher goes around. Butcher wrecks on the front stretch, brings out the caution. He was already in the 13th position, a few laps down. Saw him get loose there on the exit of turn number 4.
I think here's where you got to get that first set of tires, Travis.
4th caution of the day. As they catch up to that Stephen King Foundation pace car, and we're going to see what comes into play here. Front 4, Jackson, Moon, and Parmalee and Kemper have not pitted yet, so we'll see if they make their way down pit road here.
Yeah, we're watching it. Mark Gilbert's going to come in too. Now the guys who we did see pit the last time, who didn't look like took tires, guys like Gord Spain, Colin Johnston, they didn't pit here, so they still got 2 sets of tires left. They're going to be up front, but man, they're going to be sitting ducks for that 24 and 113 car.
Looks like we have about a half a dozen cars here come down pit road, so working lap number 38. We'll be past that 40 lap mark by the time we go back to green.
Yeah, and that puts him in a good spot for if you do another 40 lap run here and race off pit road. Kyle Moonen was able to beat Keith Jackson off pit road, so we'll have to see if that comes into play. Free spot there for Kyle Moonen. Good job by the 24 pit crew to get him on and off. But Man, like I was saying, I just think guys who took that first set of tires here, this is the right move. You'd go basically 40-40, and then if you get a caution, like I said, with 20-15 to go, then you got that extra set, and that's the way to go, man. But yeah, and just to give everybody a rundown a little bit of those pit times. Keith Jackson, he was a total of 54.27 seconds, and Kyle Noonan almost able to get in and out almost a full second slower at 0.8. So that's how you're able to make up those spots. Just getting in the pit stall a little harder when you know you're going to take tires. You don't have to worry about locking it up. You just got to know how aggressive you can be and make sure you not hitting the brakes too early. And Keith Jackson, he had that last pit stall, that pole sitter pit stall that everybody covets, but I was still able to go around him and get by him. So good job in the pits.
About to go back to green. The last 15 laps, we've had 3 cautions. So still looking for that good long green flag run of the night.
Yeah, and I'd don't mean to poo-poo on the guys at all, but I think we're due for the long run because we're starting to run out of cars, Travis. These accidents have really started to take their toll, and we've seen some of the guys be involved in multi-accidents, so no more quick repairs. It's going to be a war of attrition soon.
Looks like Preston Kramer dropped off on lap 25. Steven Bixler off on lap number 6.
Yeah, and Jacob Butcher, who was in that last accident, he already had to use a quick repair, so anything he comes out with isn't going to be very competitive here, I wouldn't imagine.
9 cars on the lead lap as we get ready to go back to green. Another Mission 22 restart. Lights off that Stephen King Foundation pace car down the backstretch. In that front row, it's going to be Fahey and Spain. So some different names up front on this restart.
Yeah, I think you want to keep an eye out on row 3 there. There's the guys with the fresh sneakers, so they're going to be coming and they're going to be battling each other quick to get by these guys. They know whichever one can get through the quickest has the best advantage here.
Out of turn number 4, green flag waves and Fahey will jump out front. Off it, slow on the gas there. That'll check him up behind him.
Yeah, Cullen Johnson didn't look like he had the best start either. Kind of slowed up Keith Jackson, allowed Jeff Kemper to get by. So that's another person he's going to have to pass who has new tires. And Kemper moved up the track there through the block.
Quickly at Spain to the inside of Fahey for the lead out of turn number 4. It will be
3 wide. This ain't going to work. Oh, Kemper hard in the wall. I knew it. 3 wide at Dover. It's just not going to work. Travis.
Jackson involved in that one too, Zach.
Yeah, and I don't really think Keith did anything. He almost got into Jeff Kemper in the middle of the corner. Did a good job of kind of checking the throttle up, maybe even getting in the brakes to survive to race another day. But it just looked like maybe Gary Offit got in the wall, or no, he maybe got tapped from Kemper first before he got in the wall. And Kemper just goes down the track. Tough break for Keith.
So we'll line it back up. Pace car's back out there here on lap number 43. Spain now your leader. Moonen was able to get up to 3rd, so a good jump on that restart for him.
Yeah, and should get another good restart here on the fresh sneakers. He'll be able to follow the leader here, Gordon Spain, I'd imagine. So he should make easy work of Kyle Fahey here, and it won't be long until that 24 is back out front.
Well, and Zach, you mentioned that poor start for that second row, and it pushed back it pushed back Jackson, put him right into that hornet's nest where that accident happened. Moonen was able to clear those guys and move up ahead. So it can show once you get back there and you're not on that front row or that lead car, anything can happen when you get around some other drivers back there in the back.
No, yeah, and you see how quick that happens. Jeff just had a real good run on the middle there, those fresh tires, and when you're trying to pass guys, you got the fastest guy of the race behind you. You want to go. You want to take advantage of those fresh tires while you can, but when you got guys out in front of you on old tires, man, stuff happens so quick, Travis, and that was a perfect example.
You mentioned it last time. We still have 9 cars on the lead lap. A couple more guys involved there, which will force some guys to some longer pit stops here. Kemper, Butcher, both of them use their quick repairs, and now they're just trying to piece their cars together at this point.
Yeah, I think Kemper there, when he hit the inside wall, blew the motor, so he had to tow. That's going to put you in easy at least 2 laps down, so his night's all but over unless he gets a bunch more cautions, which we don't want, Travis.
Well, I'm just looking. 4 more guys just drove down pit road, and you would think that with some cautions, they may be able to make it from here.
Yeah, like I said, I was pretty sure you'd go around 52, maybe 53 if you're easy, and they expect 1 more caution, so I would imagine guys coming in, topping off. That's what Cullen will be doing. He won't waste that set of tires yet, I wouldn't think. But he'll make sure he's good to go on the end, and just in case they decide to run green here.
So inching closer to that halfway mark here is light should go off that Stephen King Foundation pace car this time by when we pass.
Yeah, I think right now too, if you're Gordon Spain, man, you don't want to give up the lead, but that 24 P2 has fresh tires. He maybe can go the rest of the way on gas. He pit probably 6 or 7 laps ago, but we're getting some caution laps here, and we know how much that helps. He's going to be really close. I just think you're kind of in no man's land if you're the 38 car.
About to find out. If the lights are off, we'll head back to green. As it is Spain and Moonen now on that front row, so Moonen back up there battling for the lead where he's been a majority of this one. Gilbert and Parmalee there in that second row. And then Jackson gonna line up there inside row number 3, right where he restarted on that last one. So another Mission 22 restart coming. Lucy Olson, green flag set to wave. And just like that, we're gonna be back to racing action here at Dover. Gordon Spain Moonen, that front row.
Yeah, Gordon with a great restart, able to do whatever he wants here, but I wouldn't imagine he'll apply much pressure to that 24. He knows he's got fresh tires, and they're on a different race strategy.
Saw Butcher re-enter the track to the inside. He gets down out of the way. Moonen's going to come around. He's going to end up leading lap number 47 here now as Gilbert and Jackson both looking to the outside of Spain.
Yeah, and Keith Jackson there, he's got those fresh tires, but remember, they're not as fresh as that 24. He did a loop after he made contact with the 181 there, Jeff Kemper, so it's not going to hurt him right now, but if this thing rolls out green like we're hoping it will, that's going to affect him a little bit.
Jackson looking to the inside of Gilbert. He's quickly trying to get back up to that 24 and renew their battle for the lead. As he will clear by the time they exit turn number 2, and they also close that gap on Moonen up ahead.
Yeah, you know, Moonen, he's probably just trying his best to save those tires. He knows he was a little too aggressive early on in the last run, and he just needs to save a little bit if he wants to have anything for that car behind him.
So Moonen leads here, working lap number 50, the halfway mark.
As soon as I say that, Moonen drives that into 1 and 2 as hard as we've seen him do yet. He lost a lot of time there, and, you know, that's... sometimes we say running the high side can help you save tires, and yeah, it can when you enter on the high side, but you can't enter in on the middle like that and just drive it up because you entered with too much speed, or you're going to pay for that.
So Moonen's able to hold on here. We'll go back in the pack. Donovan Ross has rebounded. He's now into the top 7. I believe he was a lap down here early in this one.
Yeah, 2 laps down, I think. I think he had to get the lucky dog twice, so he was happy with those cautions, and he's hoping that no more come out and no more cars in the lead lap.
So his light here at Dover renewed. Mark Gilbert in that 3rd spot. He's our hard charger here at this point, up 11 spots after starting 14. But out front, it's still Kyle Moonen. Keith Jackson trying to track him down. Currently that gap is 0.3 of a second. See that battle for first between Moonen and Jackson, under 0.3 of a second now.
Yeah, and this is where Moonen's just got to be smooth, and I really hope that Keith just misses his mark. Maybe overdrives an exit, gets in the wall, damages that right front a little bit. He's just got to make sure he's smooth so that Keith doesn't get any, you know, open window there for a chance to attack. He's got to make him earn every inch he's getting. And there he goes, in the wall coming out of 4. That's what I'm talking about. Just got to make that guy behind push and, you know, make him think like, oh, I got to gain a little bit of time on him in the middle of the corner, and when he does, he's pushing it too hard because Kyle's being smooth, driving it to the max, and that's the only way you can apply pressure when you're out front.
Well, Jackson was putting pressure on Moonen. We saw Donovan Ross move around Gordon Spain. That puts him into the 6th position. That was the closest battle on the track there momentarily. As out front, Jackson still trying to chase down that 24 of Moonen here, working lap number 56.
Yeah, and you know, you remember Cullen Johnston, Gordon Spain, he was on that odd pitch strategy, so he's out there on real old tires. If this thing goes green for a long time, man, he's going to be in big trouble, Travis.
We're getting to the point here. We've got spacing. As you mentioned, we've only got 9 cars on the lead lap. You can see the gaps. Closest battle on the track is this one for the lead, which is just about at 0.4 of a second. And that's what normally happens here with this NASCAR Xfinity Series. You get a long green flag run here as they get spread out around whatever track they're at.
And you're seeing Keith Jackson try to move around a little bit. He gave up on that bottom. He's going to try to follow Moonen's high line there. He's trying something different. He's been pushing it too hard on the bottom. He kept getting in the wall coming out of the corner. So you got to try something different. But man, Kyle, you know, you're smooth right now, and you can hear me. Keep it up.
So we're right along with Keith Jackson there as he tries to track down. Moonen actually extends the lead there by about 0.6 of a second. Right now there's not any battle on the track that's less than half of a second here, as we're about to cross over into lap number 60.
See, and this is where, you know, Travis, as a driver, you got to do some quick math in your head. You got to figure out, you got to remember, I was running this lap time when I had fresh tires, and you know, once you start to lose about a second a lap, you got to think, I'm either A, going to run this thing till I'm almost out of gas and do a splash and go, no tires, or I'm going to pit with 15 laps to go, 20 laps to go. Cut this run in half, get my tires, and get enough gas for the end. We're going to see different things play out.
Watching Gary Offit. He's currently riding in the 8th position. As Moonen still setting the pace out front. He's up by 0.4 of a second, still over Keith Jackson. Jackson getting in really low there to turn number 3. Jacob Butcher back on pit road.
He's starting to trim the fat a little bit. He's working back into that lead. But when they're both on old tires, it is not going to be easy to pass. It's one thing catching a guy. It's another thing to pass him.
When I was looking at it, you've got the oldest set of, longest run on the track right now is Colin Johnston. He pitted on lap number 22. So here in about next 10 to 15 laps, he's going to have to make his way to pit road.
Yeah, and it's kind of a tough break for him because he's struggling on old tires right now. I imagine he still has 2 sets, and if this thing stays green, he's going to go home with an extra set of tires, and you never want to do that. You got your strategy wrong if you go home with a set of tires.
So this battle for the lead, the only battle on the track really under a second. As we settle in here, strategy could come into play as we work lap number 65. Moonen pitted on lap 37. Keith Jackson pitted on lap number 43.
Yeah, Keith Jackson, I mean, he did pit, but it was only after being involved in that accident with Kemper, so I imagine quick fuel splash and the quick repair there to get the car okay. But I wouldn't imagine he would stay out much longer than Moonen. Moonen seems to have the pace set, unless he thinks he can, if we see Moonen pit here in maybe 10 or 15 laps and do the 4 tires, go run qualifying laps here till the end strategy, we may see him try to go as long as he can and just a quick splash and go for like a 2-3 second pit stop. But if Moonen can run those qualifying times and keep up this pace, I think he'd chew up that lead in 20 laps here. I mean, let's take a look at the lap times actually, Travis. Right now, what?
We have green flag pit stops happening now too, Zach, for Spain and Johnston.
Yep, you're exactly right. And some of these guys like Kyle Moonen, when he comes out here on fresh tires, we've seen him run a 23.6. Right now, he just ran a 25.0. So if you pit and get tires and just split this thing in half, I think that's the right move.
So lap number 70 is what we're working now. Gordon Spain still in the pit area as he now exits. Put 7 cars on the lead lap. And really the 7 cars yet to pit, all pitted within about 7 laps of each other. So as you mentioned, Zach, you got to think that they're all going to come in at relatively the same time to stay on strategy with each other.
Yeah, and I mean, what guys like Cullen who have already pitted now, I said I believe they still got a set of tires in the bag. They're hoping this thing goes green, the leaders pit, they cycle back to the lead lap, and then they get a caution. Let the leaders already have about 4 or 5 laps on their tires, and then they come in and get the new sneakers. That's the only way guys like Gordon Spain and Colin Johnson stand a chance at winning this race. So their fate is not in their hands here, Travis.
We're about to see how it plays out. Moonen way up the track there.
Mark Gilbert to 17. Earl 17, he's starting to run down Keith Jackson a little bit here for P2. So Mark Gilbert good on the long run.
Good on the long run and good run overall. Still up 11 spots into the top 3 podium position at this point. As next time by, we're going to be about 25 laps from the finish.
And, you know, we're getting in that time where if you're Kyle Moonen, you know, maybe in about 5 or 6 laps, you jump the gun and pit because, like I say, they're down to, last time by, Kyle ran a 25.2. Let's see what he does this time. 25.1. So he picks it up a 10th, but still over a second off his optimal pace of what he can do on new tires.
So Moonen's led the most laps. He led the first 11, and now he's led here since lap number 47.
If you're Kyle Moonen, I don't know what you want to because there's a lot of pressure on a green flag pit stop, especially if you're the leader. So, you know you got to stop for fuel. Maybe you do want a caution, but at the same time, you don't want to give up that gap you have to Keith Jackson. So you got to make sure you have a good pit stop here.
Well, down to 24 laps to go. So time is winding down here. We talked about that long green flag run, and that's exactly what we've gotten since this last caution.
Yeah, and Greg Parmley's pitting, and not sure how far he went, you know, on gas, but he pit the same lap as our leader, Kyle Moonen, on lap 37. So now our leader's in this time by. Kyle Moonen's coming in.
Jackson will stay out. That'll give Jackson the lead here on lap number 78.
Mark Gilbert made up a lot of time on pit road. He locked it up coming in. He got it all there. Good job by the 17.
Well, now down the backstretch, Jackson has cars around him. He's going to try to get down. He is going to be hard on the brakes to get onto pit road.
Yeah, and you know, this is the battle now. Got to see who wins. The 24 is still sitting on pit road. That's how quick lap times are here.
And now Donovan Ross will lead. This race off pit road is going to be interesting, especially with, as you mentioned, Gilbert's ability to make up time getting on pit road. Still Ross out front. Gary.
Oh, Kyle Moonen beat him significantly here, Travis. He's got a huge gap on Keith Jackson. Wow.
And it's continuing to grow. It's over 3.5 seconds now.
The leader, Devo, he just finally pit. So everything's starting to cycle out. The only person left to pit yet is the 94. He inherits the lead this time by.
For a moment there, Jackson even lost position to Spain, who's yet to pit. He's been able to get back by him, so it's Moonen and Jackson running second and fourth, as Jackson will pass Donovan Ross on pit road now.
Yeah, if you remember, Spain and Cullen, they were one of those, they had to pit early, so if they do get a caution, I would imagine Spain still has a set of sneakers left. But, man, the field's so spread out here, I don't know if we're going to get a caution.
And here's Gary Offa. It looks like he's going to pit from the lead now. We have Moonen coming out of turn number 2.
Yeah, and if you're Kyle Moonen, you got to take it easy here. You know, he just ran a 23.9. He is going super fast, Travis, and there's no benefit to that right now. He's got the race locked up. Race is over. He's got to save tires, be smooth, keep it out of the wall, and hope that there's no caution. But the reason I say he's got to be smooth and save tires, if a caution comes out, and there it is, oh, he's got no tires left. Guys who have tires left, this is a big deal now, Travis.
Well, 17 laps to go. That caution flag waves as the final group was on pit road here under this green flag pit stop. And that was a 3.5 second gap he had on Jackson coming to 16 laps to go.
Yeah, that is not what he wanted at all there. And, that's just a tough break there. Looked like Mark Gilbert tried to go high and just wasn't clear. Gordon Spain was there, and from there on they both wrecked. A tough break.
Both of those guys were having good runs here tonight. So it's going to be Moonen, Jackson, Fahey, Johnston, Gilbert, your top 5 when this caution flag starts. As Gilbert and Johnston both make their way to pit road, and this could play in the favor of Johnston now, Zach, as we talked about. He had it set up with that extra set of tires.
Yeah, that's going to be a big factor here. I think it looks like worst spot he's going to come out is maybe P7 if he has a slow pit stop. So that's starting row 4, row 3, maybe P6 if he comes out of here. And P6, that's he's got to be one of the guys to beat. Now, that being said, Kyle Moonen and Keith Jackson, they don't have a lot of laps on their tires, but, 5-6 laps, that's enough to show a bit of difference. And that's where I said, I hate to almost jinx Kyle, but when he did amazing on that pit stop and he knew he had that gap, he needed to slow down a little bit more than I think he did to save some tires.
So we are going to have close to 10 laps to go when we go back to green.
And Travis, that made me think. It's almost exactly like what happened Sunday. If he would have just played it a little more like Denny Hamlin, just keep letting Kyle reel you in and then extending it out a little bit. That's kind of what you have to do. I just think he was trying to maintain that gap a little too hard.
We're going to see how this plays out. As we will line up 2 by 2. And it's going to be some familiar faces on that front row, Zach. It's going to be Jackson and Moonen lining up for this race to the finish.
Sorry, I was coughing a little bit, but yeah, they've been the story tonight. And, that story's not over yet. It's still a lot to be written. Kyle's got to be aggressive here, make sure he gets a good start. And, at the same time, I imagine we'll see that 113 use that front bumper if we need to. We've seen him use it before, so it's we're going to get some fireworks here.
So we'll see if the lights go off that Stephen King Foundation pace car this time. Bye. And they do. So we'll have 12 laps to go, a dirty dozen here when we go back to racing.
And, if you're Kyle Moonen, you definitely know and understand that you have a quick repair left. The guy on the outside of you doesn't. So you can be a little more aggressive, but at the same time, if you got to use that quick repair and go to the back of the pack here, you've got no tires to help you get back to the front. So you've got to walk a thin line yourself here.
So lined up we go. looks like 9 cars left out on the track at this one, Zach.
More than we had at Talladega.
That is true. As they make their way through. 3 and 4, it's going to be Moonen and Jackson, 12 laps, Dover Motor Speedway to the finish here for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Green flag waves, good jump for Moonen, good jump for Fahey as well. He looks to the inside of Jackson as they enter turn number 1.
Yeah, you know, that's almost a case of if you're Moonen, you wish you could have had Fahey in the Discord with you. Count down the restart. Make this battle a little harder because Keith Jackson, he is all over the back of that coming court.
Jackson putting the pressure on Moonen. He'll look to the inside, almost contact on the exit of turn number 4, 11 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, he got pretty close to using that chrome horn there, and I said I would not be surprised if he uses it. We'll have to see, though, if he can get close enough to actually use the thing.
Coming to 10 laps to go.
On the wall.
Things have heated up front here. Moonen running his line, trying to hold off Keith Jackson for the victory.
Yeah, we're just seeing Keith push the car really hard. He's suffering on corner exit. He's pushing the throttle in a little too early in the middle of the corner, and he's having to back out of it to keep from getting in the wall, especially on the exit of 4. And just see, that's why they always say, man, slow in, fast out. It's really hard for drivers to want to comprehend, but you just lift out a little bit earlier, driving the corner a little slower, you can pick up the throttle right where you want to, and then you'll carry all that straightaway speed. But man, it's a lot of fighting yourself there. It's a mental game. Look at Gordon Spain here, coming out of nowhere in P3, Travis. He saved those tires. He pit, and here he comes.
He has closed down that gap. He's about a half a second behind Keith Jackson. Jackson gets into the wall there at the exit of turn number 4. That's going to allow Spain to close up that gap and Moonen to pull away slightly.
Yeah, Spain's got to be the car to watch. I mean, if he gets by Keith Jackson here without an issue, he could easily win this thing. He's coming real fast. His leader's coming up on a lap car. Mark Gilbert's doing a good job of holding the bottom. He's got a damaged car, but, man, it's going to slow up our leaders a little bit.
Now Spain has closed up on Jackson as now this has turned into a 3-car battle here. Just 6 laps to go as Spain looks to the inside of Jackson.
I told everybody at the beginning of the race he was going to get a podium. I didn't think that strategy was going to work out for him, but lo and behold, he got the caution with 20 to go, and man, he made me look like a dummy because he is out there, he is flying, he's in a rocket ship.
He clears Jackson, moves into second. Now he's got 5 laps to chase down Moonen up ahead.
Plenty of time to go hunt down a guy with that old of tires. He's got 9 or 10 lap pressure tires. He's just got to be smooth and hit his marks here. And then Kyle Moonen, man, he sees that 38 car getting bigger in the mirror. He just slapped the wall coming off of 4. He's pushing that thing harder than he has all race. You can see it, but the 38 car just makes up so much time in the middle of the corner on those fresh tires, Travis.
Spain has it down to 0.3 of a second now as they go through 3 and 4, coming to 3 laps to go, and Spain is chasing him down to 0.2 on the exit of turn number 4.
Yeah, now if you're Kyle Moonen, this is a case of how bad do you want it. Are you going to block? Do you want the win? Or are you running for points? It's probably smarter to let Gordon go by when he gets up to your rear bumper. But man, everybody wants the win. So Kyle, I think he's going to hang that thing out. He's going to make that thing as wide as he can here these last 2 laps.
That lead will stay about 0.3, 2 to go here at Dover. Kyle Moonen's looking to hold on for the final 17 laps and pick up the victory.
Yeah, you know, Gordon Spain, it looks like the runs are just starting to die off. Maybe he had to run too hard to get up to second, but either way, a heck of a comeback for him. But, man, we got 2 more times here going through 3 and 4 as the white flag's about to fly.
White flag waves for Moonen. He's 1 lap away from picking up the victory here at Dover. through 3 and 4 for the final time. Moonen will make his way around. He will hold on. He will pick up the victory, and he is your winner at Dover. Gordon Spain second, Keith Jackson third.
Yeah, and Colin Johnson saved that set of tires. He ended up using them, able to drive back up the fourth. Couple more laps, maybe would have had that podium. But man, pretty good race there. It was nice to see a long green flag run mixed in.
And a good race to end our Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. As we will talk to our top 3 finishers and of course put up those unofficial results here from Dover. And a fun one there. Once we got going, once we got to that halfway mark, Zach, we had that long green flag run come into play.
Yeah, it's just a shame it took knocking out so many cars to get there. But it's a tough track. Like I say, almost every wreck happened with the wall sneaking up on somebody, just trying to push it a little too hard coming off the corner. And when that banking dies out, you get all that banking in the corner as it flattens out. It's still pretty banked on the straightaway, but you lose some banking, and that wall just catches up to you. And we saw it tonight.
That we did is we'll wait for our top 3 finishers here from Dover tonight. And Zach, I'll throw it over to you. It looks like you have our second place finisher, Gordon Spain.
Hey, Gordon, Shaggy up in the booth, man. You got a copy? Hey, Gordon, Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy? Hello, Gordon? Maybe, are you muted? Got your headset off, possibly?
As it looks having connectivity issues with Gordon. We'll try to chat with him here in a moment as we'll wait for the other 2 top 3 finishers. See if they join us up here in the booth.
Man, how was dinner tonight, Travis?
It was good. I had a quick dinner before the broadcast started here tonight. As I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna just let's grab Keith here. Move him on up. Not seeing our winner as of right now, but I'll throw it over to you, Zach. See if we can get Keith Jackson, our 3rd place finisher.
Hey, Keith, Zach in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, not able to get it done there. Just kind of got caught on the wrong strategy there. It seemed like that last caution there really kind of hurt you and Kyle. You guys were definitely the class of the field there, but whenever those other guys were able to get tires, it just kind of fell off there. But talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I felt like actually that last caution kind of helped because I one of the last to pit, so I thought my tires would be a little bit better. And then I just kept overdriving it, trying to catch Kyle, and then Gordon blew my doors off and was able to get around me. And then I just kept trying to knock the wall down, coming out of 4 every lap, trying to get back to him. Just put myself behind a little bit, getting caught up there, trying to exit 4-3 wide, pushing probably a little too early, and we all just ran out of room. But yeah, not a bad run. We'll take it.
No, man, you can't be disappointed with a podium, that's for sure. And no, like I say, the only reason, I don't know if you would have been able to run down Kyle, but why I said that caution hurt you was Gordon was one of the few people. He saved an extra set of tires, so that last caution, he went down and pit. That's how he blew your doors off. A couple more laps, he might have been able to win. But all in all, man, good run tonight. You got anybody you want to thank?
Just the guys I run with, Jack, Devo, Greg, Gary, you guys broadcasting this thing, and C2C for throwing these things up every night for us.
Well, all right, man. Good run. Congratulations, and hopefully we talk to you next week.
Yep, sounds good. Have a good weekend.
That's Keith Jackson, your third place finisher. Let's see if Gordon's back yet.
Gordon, it's Travis up in the booth. Got a copy?
Hey, you got me now.
Awesome. Well, we had a great run there. You came out of nowhere that last run for a second place finish. Walk us through your strategy and how you were able to put the pressure on Kyle.
Well, I still had a set of tires there left, 15 laps to go, going green. And by the time I got to them, though, I just ran about 15 laps of qualifying laps pretty much to get to them, and didn't have anything once I got there.
We talked about it on the broadcast with that last caution, unknown if that was going to come out. We were thinking you might go home with an extra set here if that stayed green. What were you thinking there prior to that?
I was definitely worried because I kept staying out, trying to save that set of tires. I didn't get my first set till lap 60 something. And I was a part of that last caution, actually, that allowed me to go in and get them and use my fast repair.
So your strategy all came together there at the end for that final caution.
Somewhat. I just didn't want to be a part of it.
Well, it was a great run. A lot of fun to watch you come up through there, and we've seen you have good runs here with the Xfinity Series here on Thursday night. It's got to feel good to finally come away with a finish of P2.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always fun racing these guys, and definitely enjoy it.
Well, hey, I said you were going to get a podium at the beginning of the race, so thanks for not making me look stupid.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm glad you didn't jinx me on that.
Well, it was fun watching you, Gordon. Who are those people and those sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
No sponsors really. My team kind of fell apart, but I'd like to thank you guys for broadcasting. Thank the league for putting this on every week. Yeah, I look forward to racing every week with these guys.
Well, we appreciate it, Gordon. It was fun to watch you, like we said, and we look forward to talking to you again here on Thursday night again soon.
Sounds great. Thank you.
That's Gordon Spain. He's going to come away P2 here tonight at Dover, and just like that, Zach, that's an end of another Gambler Motorsports Thursday Night Thunder.
Yeah, all in all, a pretty good night. Once we got the green flag running, we got to see what the boys really had in the bag. So it's always nice seeing a long green flag run. But man, before that, heck of a night on the dirt side. One of the better nights we've had. Would have been crazy to see Blake get the three-peat, but 3 podiums, that's got to be the story tonight, Travis.
Yes, it does, and that will bring us to a close. We'll throw up as we go out those final results here from Dover. It's going to be Kyle Moonen, your winner, Gordon Spain second, Keith Jackson third, Colin Johnston fourth, Kyle Fahey in that 5th position. And as always, thank you for tuning in. I'm Travis Pearsall with Extreme eSpeed TV, joined as always on Thursday night with Zachary Chapman. We appreciate you tuning in and watching with us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you at a racetrack soon.